Hello, 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 people. Good morning. What is it saying? Oh, spam. All right. So, good morning, TikTok. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, all of the people in all of the places. Apologize for being 30 minutes late this morning, but little mama needed me to help her take care of some things. And as you know, babies always come first. Good morning, Kenneth. Good morning, Nitrim. Hey, R. How are you? What's up, Katrina? Hey, C. Hello. Hey, L. Kevish. Good morning, Kentucky lady. Oh my gosh, I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. Good morning, Auntie Tiff. She unalived in her game. What's up, Gabe, the babe? Good morning. How are you? So, if you are on Facebook and YouTube, please make sure that you say hello because I can't see you in the comments until you comment. What, baby? Yeah, look. You want this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that for you. Good morning, folks. Good morning. Sorry I missed everybody. Brandy, good morning. Mila, hey, Uka, good to see you. See your little hand waving? She's waving. Good morning, Sandy. Good morning, Lisa. Hey, Win Dixie. What's up, Sage? Good morning, Christine is fed up. Good to see you as well. Hey, Pamela P. Jones over there in YouTube land. Good to see you. Kentucky lady said, look, she said, hi, Mila.
Hi.
Hey, DJ. Hey, Pie Slice. Good morning, Monica. Good to see you. Good morning, Sandy. Hey, Blue Honey Pot. Cheryl. Cash. Good to see you. Hey, Laura. Good to see you as well. How is everybody? What's up, Nico? Eric. Good to see you as well. BA. Good morning. It's everybody's coming in all at the same time, so I might miss you, but know that I'm still saying good morning. Like I said, I'm 30 minutes late. It has been a long day already. I have been up and at it since around 5 a.m. this morning. Bella did better last night. Christine, thanks for asking. Good morning, Nico. Yeah, you're on time today. Good to see that. Candy Kiss, good morning. Hey, Conchita. So yeah, she did better. I am hoping. Hey, Masani. I don't know if I said this or not the other day, but when I took them to the pediatrician. What's up, Chef and coolest mom ever? Good to see you as well. Bella's hemoglobin was a little low, and so they've got us giving her a supplement. So she's more tired and fatigued, and so we did a lot of stuff earlier last night and had to work with her a little bit. And then they're going to recheck her in just a couple of weeks to see if it's coming up a notch or two because. If not, they're going to have to test for some things and it's a little bit more invasive and things like that. Good morning, Angel Snow. Good to see you as well. So going to stay in the live on mute. You got a meeting for, gotcha, Cam, no worries. So yeah, I've been doing all the tutu things, but so I do have a few things that I want to talk about today, right? This is kind of a big one, misinformation, disinformation. How do we tackle that? How do we avoid that? How do we not fall into the BS? Good morning, Deb. Good morning, Janice. Yeah, coolest mom. She's it's been a little bit of a challenge. But remember yesterday when I said, oh, this email that's coming through, hopefully it's not whatever. Hey, sexy Zan. That was the email from her special education teacher. Good morning, Tam Bam. Hey, Fantif. Good to see you as well. I don't want to see anything else that Trump does. So that was the email yesterday asking me to do some things last night. And so that's why I did not come back last night. So instead it was family stuff. It was like cooking dinner like a lot earlier and working with her and, verbal, we need to be doing things with, 2 verbal prompts instead of 5 and all the things that go with it. So good morning, Realtor BJ. So can we please say DT being president is fake news? No, Sandy, I wish, but nope, that is not a possible thing. That is not possible. But we are going to talk about this morning, and I'll share with you all what Christine Hush. Christine, for those of you guys who can't see TikTok comments, Christine said that her MAGA boss said the economy is wonderful and Trump is just doing great. Good morning, Witch. Good morning, Beach Bum Wannabe. Okay, dude, if you say so. So let me say this. Good morning, Cheryl. Hey, good morning, Mom. So, I had to resist the temptation to go on a ranting live on Facebook this morning. Susan, good morning, Susan. It's probably a really good thing that I wasn't able to at the moment because I got seriously infuriated. And do y'all remember yesterday when I was live and somebody in the comments had said something about like Trump didn't say that, and then I played the video, and then there was something else that was said, and I said, you have to ask yourself, hey, Shannon, you have to ask yourself, what is going on with you when you can make a claim about something? Oh yeah, happy birthday, witch. We've got a couple of birthdays in here. So for those of you all who don't know how we do birthdays around here, just get prepared and go with it. Get prepared and go with it. But I had a similar experience to that this morning. And we're going to talk about it because holy crap. But before we do that, so let me just tell you guys, and don't judge us. Okay, listen, TikTok people, we're good. YouTube and Facebook folks, don't judge the TikTok family and how we say happy birthday around here. Because we say happy birthday a different way. And hold on a second. I need to do. I'm doing too many different things. So, all right, give me 1 second. All right. So listen. So we say happy birthday in the kid way. And this is a song that I first got introduced to at my great niece's birthday party last year. And so I know that I don't want to do that. I want to do this. Okay, it's going to make me do it a different way. And that's okay. I'm not going to be mad about it. Okay. All right. So we say happy birthday a little bit different around here. So we're going to do this. And I know there's somebody else too. It's not just Witch that has a birthday today. It is, oh, well, hell, that's why. Bless its soul. Yes, I'm live on this, but I didn't have my Wi-Fi turned on over here. That is why it wouldn't pull up my playlist. No wonder. Not so loud, Mila. Not so loud. I know you might be unaliving right now in the game, sissy, but not so loud, please. Thank you. All right. So really quickly. Oh, there it is. All right. So this is how we say happy birthday here in our world. Y'all, I can't with my mama. My mama just said, does this happy birthday greeting come under the heading of diversity? In fact, it does. In fact, it does. In fact, it does. You ready, y'all? Oh, hold on. I cannot with her. She is so done. I am so done with her. Okay, you ready? I heard it was somebody's birthday. I heard it was somebody's birthday. This is how we do it. PJ Panda birthday song, yeah. Today is your birthday, we gon' say it loud. Today is your birthday, you know you're so proud. Today is your birthday, we gon' turn it out. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you. So, for those of you all who have never been introduced to PJ Panda, that is PJ Panda, the trap mix for happy birthday. So my TikTok folks are over here dancing. YouTube and Facebook folks are probably like, what in the hell? But yes, so at my great niece's birthday party last year, we got turned on to coolest mom ever said I put my pods in so I could blast it and dance at my desk. So ever since that, we use it, and that's how we say happy birthday to our folks, right? So when it is your birthday, let us know. We will happily embarrass you and play PJ Panda trap music. Cam said I muted my work so I could listen. We love that. Okay, so I want to say something that felt good to get up and dance a minute. Right, Lisa. You know what I thought about the other day? I thought about when is the last time I had headphones on? Good morning, Teresa. And was dancing in my house. Good morning, Amy. Because that's a thing that I do, right? That's a thing that when I'm feeling good on a Saturday morning and I'm cleaning house and I've got music in my ears and I'm like, oh, it's been a while. Good morning, Joe. So I'm reminding myself to find my joy, and because there's a lot of very intense things going on in my life, right? And between work and news and kids and helping other people go to work and keep kids and, just all the things, right? Good morning, Katrina. Hey, Nancy G. And so I'm reminding myself, you know what, girl, you need to play some music and dance around a bit because you haven't done that in a minute, right? So anyway, so let me share with you all what happened this morning. Right. Got to get in the groove regularly. Absolutely, Lions Queen. So let me just tell you all this. So, and I appreciate you guys for liking, for sharing, for gifting, for all the things. T has a dance party on Saturday. Love that one, Dixie. Love that. All right. So let me just tell you. So this morning, there is a Facebook group that I don't even know how the hell I got in it. Good morning, Sunny. But it is called Can You Handle the Truth? Or You Can't Handle the Truth. It's something similar to that. And I don't know who put me in this group, but I'm in it. And there's this one particular Facebook account that I am pretty sure is fake, right? I'm pretty sure. Morning, Stacey D in the place to be. I'm pretty sure that this person is just paid to spread disinformation, but I don't know that to be a fact, so I'm not going to say their name. But you will see that we talk to each other off and on sometimes. And it's starting to really irritate my soul because I know all this person does is spread lies. And it makes me angry because it has a really negative effect on us, right? So like people who think it doesn't matter to say, is it a signal chat and do you work for the Atlantic? I said, I don't know who put me in this group. And she said, is it a signal chat and do you work for the Atlantic? That was a good one, Sammy J. That was a good one. But so it bothers me because, a lot of times when we're on social media, we used to live in a world where people were like, oh, just relax. It's just social media. But we don't live in that world anymore, folks. Social media is where even mainstream news puts their news. We don't live in the world anymore where you're just like, oh my God, it's just a joke. It's on social media. We don't live in that world. We live in the world now where countries, organizations, politicians, leaders of the world, they put out official statements on social media. And so I think that with that, we should recognize that there is a serious responsibility with what you're sharing and resharing and reposting and liking on social media, right? Am I the only person that thinks this way? That I'm like, before I hit the share button, before I hit the like button, I'm like, especially if it sounds crazy, if it just sounds crazy, or if it sounds, yeah, baby. You want to put that right there?
Yeah.
Okay. Good girl. You're being so good for me today. Yeah. So like, and here's my thing. If it sounds inflammatory, if it sounds one-sided, if it sounds like it is specifically designed to make you dislike a political party or a particular administration, that is your first clue that you should look that shit up. Can I say that again? If just the wording of it is designed to specifically make you angry or make another political party look bad, that's your first clue to look it up, right? And it astounds me how many grown people we have that refuse to engage in this very responsible, action. And what's crazy is these are the things that we would tell our children. Wouldn't we tell our children to be responsible with what they share? We tell our children, don't spread lies. If you didn't see it and you don't know it firsthand, then don't share it. If you don't whatever, right? We tell our children that. Don't repeat gossip. If you don't know it to be true, did you hear it from the source? And somehow grown people don't seem to be able to follow this training that we give to our children. What is wrong with us? So I ran into a situation. Yeah, well, not only do you discredit yourself, but you cause harm because you're sharing other things that aren't true. So I'm going to show you guys something today that I saw this morning. And as soon as I saw it, I immediately went and looked it up, right? Yeah, baby.
Look, I win.
You won? Go, girl. Give me a high five. You got it, Mila.
I win in a football at him.
Girl, you threw the ball at him and you won?
Yeah.
I love it. Right, Cam. In school, we learn so much about citing credible sources. But but too many people are not putting this thing into practice themselves, right? Now, in all fairness, let me say this. I learned during the first Trump administration that this was challenging, where he in particular is concerned, because during the first administration, I would see a post that would say he said this thing, and I was like, surely to God, this is not something that anybody would say. And then I would go, oh my God, this is something he really said. Like we can no longer live by that. If it sounds outlandish, it probably didn't happen rule, because we have crossed all of the boundaries at this time in our life. There is no more a president would never say or do this, right? I never ever thought that we would be living in a day where the president of the United States could mock a disabled reporter, could degrade women from the Oval Office, right? Thanks, Caroline. I appreciate that. I never thought that we would live in a world where our president would talk the way he does. You know what I mean? But we do. And so that is why it's like it used to be that we didn't have to worry about that kind of thing. We would just know. We don't know anything anymore, right? So we have to do our due diligence and find things out. So bear with me. I want to show something because you can see what I've got here is all this. Oh, wait, let me do this for YouTube and Facebook and this for TikTok, right? But you can see I've got the woman with her ears up, and there's all this information coming from every direction. And then you've got the no fake news over here. And then you've got the fake guy standing behind her where there's going to be news, right? Let me just say this. So in Tesla, right, Tesla's on the White House lawn, or having a dinner with your largest Bitcoin investors, and they get a private tour of the White House. What are we living in? This is not like The Price is Right. And I'm like, oh my God, they have turned the White House into a fucking reality show. It's just the craziest thing in the world to me. But anyway, so here's the thing, right? So today I see this post in this group that I don't know how I got in, right? I see this post in this group that I don't know how I got in on Facebook. And it has a picture of these FEMA packages. Tell me now if you've seen the post I'm talking about. It's a post with a bunch of FEMA packages looking like, and it says that they were found by Border Patrol. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Nika said, yep. No, do not go look, Conchita. I'm going to show it to you. So Mila, Ann, not so loud, baby. Okay, so let me show you. So first of all, well, I'm going to tell you in just a second. So let me show you what I'm talking about, people. Facebook and YouTube, hold tight. I'm coming. I am coming your way. Y'all hear her? She is cracking me up. So there's this post. And there it is. Do y'all see this? All right. So here we go. Facebook and YouTube. Let me show you what I got for you. Boom, boom, boom. Well, sweet baby Jesus. Where is the document I downloaded? Mila, what are you doing? Oh, there it is. What's it called? Oh, there it is. I didn't know what I named it. Bless my soul. Okay, so this post was going around.
That is
And this is saying that Border Patrol found these thousands of FEMA relief packages that were scattered in storage containers at the southern border, put there by the Biden administration, is what it says. Hey, Swells, what's up, Senshio? And it says that that the packages were rerouted in 2024. Yeah, baby.
What time is it?
It is 10:50. And then it says they were rerouted from Tennessee, Georgia, and North Carolina after Hurricane Helene. Now, let me just say this. First of all, this went around back in October of 2024. If you Google FEMA packages at the southern border, right, Cam, this will come up, and so will a ton of articles and a post from FEMA on their website that says, no, this is not a thing that actually occurred. So let me show you what came from FEMA. So this, Facebook and you guys, you can already see it. So here we go. Rumor funding for FEMA disaster response was diverted to support international efforts or border-related issues. You remember when this happened? So did the packages thing. That also happened as well, right? But get this. So I go and I start putting this underneath the thing for people. I can't answer your phone right now, person who's calling me. And so I do this and I share it with people. And this one woman wants to argue with me. And I said, listen to me, they are recycling fake news. And I said, you want to argue with me? I want you to look at the name of the page that originally posted it. Okay, are y'all ready? The name of the page is America's Last Line of Defense. That's the Facebook page that posted it. Y'all, when you go to their Facebook page, it says, the flagship of all the America's Last Line of Defense network of trollery and propaganda for cash. Nothing on this page is real. So I said to the woman, you are literally arguing with me when the page that you got this shit from says that nothing on this page is real. Now, what's scary is this post got 8.8 thousand shares. If you go to this page on Facebook, everything on there that is misinformation and fake is being shared hundreds and thousands of times. And so my thing is this, I don't even think pages like this should be allowed to exist. I don't think that they should be allowed to exist because people will not read the description up above, right? And say, oh, this is from, it's like when people post stuff from The Onion and they don't know that The Onion is a fake site satire. They don't know that The Onion is satire. And so they post it like it's real. Hey, River Ray, right? And so for me, I just go, what in the absolute hell? And I said to the woman, now listen, when I write, because there's no community notes on these pages, Astrid, there's nothing from Facebook, hey Sharon, saying, put this in context, additional information needed. Like none of that is appearing on these things, right? None of it. But here's the thing that gets me. So when I showed her the actual thing from FEMA, right? She says, well, of course, gonna believe them. And I said, so you want me to not trust the government website that actually determines where FEMA goes? And you want me to trust a random ass social media post, right? And so then when I showed her that the post she was quoting was coming from was a satire page that says nothing on this page is real, I said, you are literally arguing with me when your source says it's fake. You are arguing with me when your source says the shit ain't real. You have got to be kidding me. What is, and I literally asked her, what is wrong with you? Like, are you an adult human being? What in the absolute holy hell? I don't get it. Your source says what we're writing is fake, and you are doubling down. I just, right. So it just absolutely, so we do have to start having these conversations, which I have no idea where she was from, because to be quite frank, it had over 8.8 thousand shares. So I just started randomly going through the post, and then I stopped doing it so that I didn't get flagged on Facebook. I started posting the facts underneath, like a screenshot of the facts underneath everybody's comment, because when I tell y'all, people were pissed. Then pick it up and plug it up. I know somebody that's not going to get her ice cream today if she behaves like that. Yeah, so she might want to just plug up her phone and continue to be a good girl, right? Okay, thank you. I'm telling y'all. So here's the thing, right? When I'm talking to this lady, and right, but that's my thing. Okay, so why couldn't you upload it? Oh, hold on, Mila. Okay, look, Grammy's watching. Say hi, Grammy. Yeah, right. Okay. Now, Tuju's going to finish working, and you're going to be a good girl for me so you can get your ice cream when I'm done, right? And you can have this for now. Oh, there's a chicken on my head?
Yeah.
Yeah, on TikTok. There's a paper plane, too, a paper crane. Were you trying to reach for it? Look, they said, hi, Mila. Look, hi. They're giving you kitty cats. Look, Grammy said, hi, brat. You see her face. See the octopus? Okay, here. Yeah, my mom said hi, brat, and you saw her eyebrows. You're welcome. Go behave while I work. Her face is a trip. So for those of you all who might be new, that is my youngest grand. She is 4, and I watch her while her mama works. So she gets the good gifts out of you. I love that. Radical Granny, listen, you just have no idea. She has gotten to this thing. I don't know where she got it from either, because Bella doesn't do it. I don't do it. Maybe it's things she's seen on TV or whatever, because now when you get ready to, she pops the pose and the this, and it is a lot. It is a lot. So, yeah, she felt called out because she was. But here's the thing. Okay, so I'm literally talking to this woman, right? She is a girl's girl, that's for sure, but she's rough as a cob. Let me just tell you this. Do not get it twisted, because she is rough as a cob. All right, so let me say this. Okay, so I do want to talk about how important it is. And let me ask you all this. Do you all take the time to address, Teresa said she was the most beautiful baby you've ever seen. Her baby pictures were just incredible. But do you all take the time to a corn cob for our non-Southerners? Yeah. What did I say? She's rough as a cob. Oh, I did say that. So on TikTok, Blue Honey Pot is from Southwest Virginia. And like the region where I'm from is Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia. And so we're all kind of together. And so when I said she's rough as a cob, I didn't even stop to think that Northerners might be like, what the hell are you talking about? And so Blue Honey Pot over here on TikTok said, as a corn cob, because that's what it means. You know how corn cob is rough if you scrape the corn off of it. Anyway, it's rough as a cob, rough as a corn cob. Amy said, I just rolled with it. Oh my gosh. Gump said, yeah. Never heard that before. Some of y'all said, I just rolled with it. That's what you figured. Yeah. What's up, user blessed? Yeah, that's what it was. You should have. Sometimes I don't remember that I'm from the South and I'm just country as hell. I remember the first time I was talking to some folks in like in a corporate environment. I said, yeah, just pop a squat. And they were like, just what? And I was like, oh, just take a seat anywhere. Just you can sit anywhere. Because what I said was, y'all just pop a squat anywhere. And they were like, Papa what? Papa what? I said, Papa squat. Just have a seat. That's what it means. So, you just never know. You just never know. But anyway, all right. I'm just saying, Rylene. Um, and can I say this? Today, you're going to hear this news everywhere, except for a long time. You're only going to hear me talk about this once right now in this moment. You ready? Yes, Biden did an interview with BBC yesterday. He talked for a really long time about a lot of different things. And yes, he said that it did not matter when he pulled out of the election race, that if he had pulled out sooner, it would not have changed anything. Yes, he said that. I don't know why anybody gives a shit now, because nothing's changing what happened now. All we can do is focus on the future. So what I really wish is that his ass would not have done an interview right now, because I need him to not take away from real issues that need to be addressed. I do not want to be talking about Joe Biden again. He is not the president. Woof. Since you don't say that, so TikTok doesn't get me. They will get me if you talk about the election in that way. Okay. Right, Shelley. Definitely can't take the country out. So listen, I think his administration did fantastic things. I think that the Democratic Party would have accomplished so much more if they had talked about what was getting done under his administration instead of talking about Donald Trump the whole time, right? But right now is not the time for him to be doing interviews. Sir, you are done. You are retired. You are out of here. If you want to create a Substack or some shit and have somebody write your thoughts down, great. But doing an interview right now, hey, Karen, with BBC, good morning, Rebecca Littlebird, is just not prudent. It's not helpful. Right? And so for me, so I've seen news things after news things after news things. And when the reality is the things that we've got to be focused on right now are the things that are happening, right? Review mirror. We can't do that right now, right? So we need to be looking at what's happening with the trade agreements between the UK and India, what's happening between India and Pakistan, what's happening between Israel and in Gaza. We need to be focused on what's happening in Congress or not happening in Congress. We need to be going over this ridiculous budget proposal, which we are going to go into more in depth today, because I really want to talk, being from a small town, right? And in my community where I'm from, we have some areas that are very, very rural. And we've got some that, small towns, and they're pretty decent size, but we don't have the whole 50, 60, 70,000. That's not a thing where I'm from. Right. So I want to talk about what this budget does for those people. But before we get into that, I want to go back to this with this misinformation. Right. Remember when we had a Congress? Good times. That's what F and E Jet said. Yeah, correct. Yes, ma'am. Do you want something? Huh? Can you have one of those?
Yeah.
Are you going to be a good girl?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, please.
Yes, please. Good. That was good manners. Thank you. One, and you have to space it out. Okay.
Okay.
Sit down and be careful with that in your mouth. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I want to pull this up again. So give me 1 second, because I have, as y'all know, a plethora of things that are pulled up so we can have these conversations today. But I need to pull up the congressional budget that I had up yesterday. Also, along the lines of misinformation and disinformation, This part is really important. So, how many of you all were told that Congress passed the passed a bill to limit the jurisdiction and power of federal courts? How many of you all have seen TikTok creators, because I have, saying that Congress has passed a bill to limit the power of federal judges? Oh, I got tagged in it. Cheryl. I was so pissed. Okay, so let's just be clear. The bill is HR 1526, House Resolution 1526. It's NORA, NORRA of 2025, right? And someone tagged me in it. Good morning, Gma, the OG. So the bill is there. It did pass the House. It has not passed the Senate. So listen to me. This bill was received by the Senate almost a month ago on April the 10th. It was received in the Senate. It was read twice and referred to the Committee on the Judiciary. That's where it's at. It hasn't passed the Senate, but that's where it's at. So what does that mean? Right? Yeah, that's part of 2025. It's also because the federal judges, if you listen to Trump's interview the other day, right, Cheryl, we're going to get to that part in just a second. So listen, here's the thing. So, gosh, you see how my ADD got me there? My ADHD got me. Okay, listen. So it has passed the House. So what do you need to do? What do you need to do? Contact your senators. Contact every member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. What do you remind them of? You remind them of the Constitution. You remind them that this is unconstitutional and they cannot pass it. And then you look at all the members of the House and you look at all of the Democrats that passed this piece of legislation, and you fire off an email to their ass too, right? And ask them what the hell were they thinking of? And then if your representatives are the Republicans in the House that absolutely voted for this bill, guess what you do? You contact them people as well. And then guess what else you do? You write, yes, it's the No Rogue Rulings Act. That's what this is for people that don't know about it. Okay. So it limits the authority of federal district judges, district courts to issue injunctions. And so specifically, it prohibits a district court from issuing an injunction unless the injunction applies only to the parties of the particular case before that court, right? Love that, Nico. Stay on John Fetterman's ass, right? Yeah. Tell John Fetterman he's about to find out it's going to be really hard to get any more damn hoodies with these tariffs. So he might want to get his ass in gear. Okay. All right. So listen, so that's what this bill would do. Okay. And this is where you have to start making them accountable. Now, do you know what else you can do? And I talk about this a lot, but very few people do it. And let me tell you, it is super damn important and effective. You need to be writing letters to the editor expressing your opinion about this bill and about the representatives that voted for it. Like, seriously speaking, citing the parts of the Constitution that make this unconstitutional. So this is one of the problems that I have with the lawyers in Congress, right? So so Jonesy, you say that when you say buy American made products and you don't pay tariffs. Here's the thing. Many of the companies are not having their products made in America, right? And so guess what, Jonesy? Here's what happens. Because those corporations have their manufacturing facilities built in other countries and they have people employed in those other countries, they're not going to turn around overnight and build new facilities here. Like, first of all, where are they going to build them? Are they going to negotiate tax breaks with whatever state and county and city government that they want to build one there, right? Where are they going to hire the workers? Are they going to be willing to pay a living wage that is for the workers in that region? How long will it take to get a facility built? How long is it going to take to get the employees done? How much is it going to take to have like all of the materials and all of the things? And the materials come from the other damn countries. No, they are not, Jonesy. The fact that you're saying that tells me that you don't have a clue. The majority of our things, we used to be a manufacturing country. And under Ronald Reagan, we became a service country. That is why in many communities, all you have are service jobs if you don't have specialized trainings in many places, right? So like, especially in small towns and rural communities. So where I'm from, we used to have Raytheon, Bristol compressors, Speed Clip, y'all from back home, tell me how many that, because I'm forgetting some. But I mean, you could have, so we had so many different manufacturing jobs and manufacturing facilities. Valleydale used to be there. Do y'all remember this? We had Moore's potato chips. Like we've had lots of different of manufacturing jobs and corporations, and those were some of the better jobs that you could have. Now, either we don't have them and they have closed, like Raytheon, or they have now changed and there's something else where they don't. Yep, we had Haynes, you guys had Valleydale, Toltex, all the things, right? And they are not there anymore. Right. Reaganomics is what undid. Yep, Fingerhut, Brandy, yes. And so this is the things. And what people don't realize is you're not just looking at the manufacturing, you are also looking at the materials for the things that are being manufactured in those places. Oh my God, Beecham, which Beecham then became King Pharmaceuticals, right? Do y'all remember when King Pharmaceuticals was this fantastic employer in Bristol and we had super great insurance under them and all of those things were, do y'all remember this world? So when somebody says, yeah, but we're talking specifically about, so like the person who said Fingerhut, they're from where I'm from, right? So we're talking about all of these different things. So when we look at, Mila, not so loud, honey, I'm glad you are happy. But when we look at what has happened to manufacturing in this country, right? Manufacturing facilities in United States by year. So that's what I'm looking up right now. So let me just tell you, this is like really good information that you can look up for yourself. There is a national association. Oh my gosh, which Gordon Garments. I can remember as a little girl, my mother taking us over to Gordon Garments to get, our underclothes and things like that, right? Absolutely. So you can look at manufacturing in the United States at the National Association of Manufacturers. Okay. So I am also pulling up just this quick little overview. And here's the thing. I don't like going just by AI. What I typically do is when I'm looking at an AI overview, I will go, yep, Ball, Westinghouse, all the thing, right? So Reynolds became Ball. You remember that? But let me just show you, because then the place where they're getting the statistics from is being pulled from different sources, and you can actually go and look at those sources, right? So when I look at this, manufacturing employment increased between 1939 and to 1979. In 1979, it reached a peak of 19.5 million. You hear me? Let me just be clear, Jonesy. The peak was in 1979. I don't know if you're aware, but you are on TikTok, which is social media, on a thing called the internet in 2025. This is not 1979. The number of manufacturing firms in this country has been in a steady decline since 2002, with some sectors like textile and apparel, which is the hoodies I was just mentioning, right, experiencing significant shrinkage. Okay. In between 2002 and 2022, the United States lost over 45,000 manufacturing firms. 45,000 manufacturing firms between 2002 and 2022. So in 20 years, we lost 45,000 manufacturing firms. So again, when I say, right, Rebecca Littlebird, the materials from China to build it. Right. So if you want American made stuff, the best thing is American made, union made. You want to look for places, look for union printers, look for union places, because that's where you can get it done. That's one of the things that I loved about the yard sign campaign that we did with ruralorganizing.org last year. Everything, all of those yard signs were union printed. All of them were union printed. So, I just wanted to point that out. So, right, Deborah. He's using TikTok, a foreign-based app, but complains about bringing things back to mayor. So to be fair, TikTok Incorporated is a company in the United States. It's the company that does the United States version of China's TikTok, and the algorithm is designed and owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance. So, holy geez, people, don't argue with me about things. If you don't know facts, if you're not willing to even look up facts, then please don't argue with me, because that would be a mistake. Okay. Yeah, I was saying, to be fair, right? But, and where's Jonesy? It looks like Jonesy went away. Did Jonesy go away? It looks like Jonesy went away. It does look like that, doesn't it? Holy geez. So high manufacturing percentages of workforce. Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, kind of, sort of. Those are the most. Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, like then New Hampshire and Vermont. But here's the difference. Here's the thing that is crazy, right? Is that Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, Indiana, those types of places, the places up north, they have unions. They get unionized. Yeah, I'm a veteran. Yeah. So, but they get unions to fight on their behalf. And in the South, for some reason, people have this negative opinion of unions. But if you don't remember, unions were the people that wanted to fight for coal miners. Unions are the people that are the reason that you have, are the reason that you have, an 8-hour workday. And unions are the reason that you have like so many breaks and a lunch hour and paid holidays and all of those things, guys. Without unions, without people standing in solidarity, we didn't have those things. And corporations ran you into the ground. I don't know why we forget that corporations do not give a damn about people. Right. Insurance, all of the things. Oh, thanks, Mother Football. Appreciate that. Oh, that's a pretty gift. I haven't seen that one, right? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So that was really pretty, wasn't it, Cam? And so this is the thing that people do not get. So let me just say this. So AFT is the American Federation of Teachers, right? They are, I believe, the largest teachers union in the country, right? Rebecca Littlebird said, I love it when you go to look something up and we hear your fingers intensely tapping away to the keyboard with pointed intention. Yes, because that's what happens. The teachers union saved your ass. Yeah. So here's the thing. Did you all know that AFT also has a segment of it that is a union for nurses? Did you know that? And it's one of the fastest growing segments of AFT's union base. Now, Brianna says, little bird, she says, she calls it Danny ASMR. That's hilarious. But I spoke on their panel 2 years ago as a healthcare advocate from a rural healthcare advocate's perspective. So I was part of that panel back then. So it's important for people to know, right, what unions do. And when they say, oh, they're just there to make money based on your dues and this, that, and the other. Well, listen, here's the thing. If I have to pay my dues, right, and because of my dues, it keeps my employer from taking away my health insurance, from working me without breaks, with making sure that I have lunches. If it ensures that I am protected and that I have certain protections for me and for my family and all of that, and somebody is there to sit at the table and make those demands on my behalf, I'm okay with that. Why would I not be? I don't understand this. We all understand that when you are going to court, you hire an attorney, right? And you pay the attorney, right? That's what you do you not? You pay the attorney. It's the same thing. It is the exact same thing. Good morning, Chantel. Right? So I just want us to be clear about what we're doing. And it's the solidarity of it that is what makes it so effective. All right, Blue Honey Pot, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. Hey, Danny, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. I wanted to give a little bit of the union. I'm a union person. So what happened was people came into these union jobs and out of the goodness of the company's heart. Now, I was in CWA, so that was for communication workers.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked for the phone company. So when people would get hired, we'd go into the training class, talk to them, explain the union and what it did. But somewhere in the brain, they couldn't understand that they were making $35 an hour because of the union. And it was even to the point with Verizon, you could break it down and say, drive across the street to the wireless store, ask them what they make, what they pay for their benefits because they're non-union. So
Yep.
They're making $12 an hour, paying for their benefits, don't have the support or the lawyer, because it's exactly right. As a union rep, when somebody got in trouble, I went in there to fight for them to save their job. It also allowed the company not to do whatever they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And people somehow have gotten it in their brains that the unions are bad. Again, it's a corporation too, but they're still fighting for you.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah. 100%.
And we had 100%. We had it in our contract in the time I was there after going on strike that they could not lay us off. If you were hired before a certain date, they could not lay you off.
Yep.
Well, they served past that and fired us off. But, you had that protection to begin with.
Yes.
So when you join the union, we would push for people, look for American made, buy union made. If we went to a conference, you're not staying at the Holiday Inn, you're staying at a union hotel, you're eating at a union restaurant. We had a company here in Roanoke that became unionized printers so that they could put what I was saying a minute ago, that bug on their stuff and we could give it out.
Yep. I was trying to find, so the guy that printed the programs
Yes.
for the Virginia Democratic Rural Caucus that I just went to their summit, he's union. It was a union printer.
It's called the bug, and somewhere on that piece of paper is this little symbol that has his local number and stuff.
Yep.
So when you want to buy American made right now, the best thing to do, there are t-shirt shops that are union. That means the shirt's been made in America. The person that put the print on it was made in America or did it in America. You might pay a little bit more, but it kept a job here that's making decent wages.
So let me give you a little bit of information. That's perfect. And this is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Okay. So listen, this came out January 28th of 2025. So this is relevant new information. You ready? So the union, the percentage of wage and salary workers who were union members was almost 10% in 2024, right? The number of wage and salary workers belonging to unions, which is 14.3 million, stayed about the same. Okay. Now get this. Highlights from the 2024 data. The union membership rate of public sector workers, 32.2%, continued to be more than 5 times higher than the rate of private sector workers at 5.9%. The highest union rates were among workers in education, training, and library occupations and protective service organizations. Yeah, hold on. I need water. I need water. I need water. Hold on. I want to find.
While you're looking for that, Danny.
Yeah.
You know, there are bad unions, or I won't say bad unions. There are unions that do shady things and bad stuff. The union I went into was, had been around since the phone company came around. So it was an older union. But I'm not going to lie to you. I went to conferences, stood outside and waited for my cab, watched the president get in a limo. It is a corporation.
Yeah.
But you have to remember that corporation's for you, not against you.
Let me also say this. So during when we were at the Royal Caucus, some of the guys, they were up the night before our last day at the caucus. They were up until I think 1 or 2 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Talking about, because they were in negotiations, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So I want to give you this piece. The median weekly earnings for non-union workers was 85% of what it is for union workers. So union workers were making 15% more than non-union workers. And what that looks like in terms of a median, right, is the difference between $1,337 a week and $1,138 a week. So and y'all know me, I'm going to do the math. So 1,337 minus 1,138 equals $199. So $800 a month is what union people made more than non-union folks.
I got the job at Verizon. It was Bell Atlantic back then, okay?
Yep.
It was in 1996. I was 21 years old, and that woman offered me $28 an hour.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you got overtime, and you got benefits for free. It cost me $15 to have 2 babies, high risk C-sections. Okay, that's it, $15. So I could justify paying $85 a week for the union dues because I was going to pay triple that for insurance at another company making less money.
Yeah.
It afforded me to buy a house. I was a single woman. I was independent. It was, if I could have that.
You could make a living. You could make a living. You could not just survive. You could actually live. And the thing about this is, so somebody just mentioned UAW. So that was one of the unions that was in Michigan. Okay. And I hope to be able to share some additional information with you guys later, but I can't yet. But when I tell you, so the labor panel for me was my favorite panel of all. And the reason why is, so we had Mike Booth, the VP from UAW. We had Bob Reiner from AFL-CIO. We had Paul Canary from IBEW. And then we had, oh my God, I can see his name, Adam somebody from the Bricklayers and Builders Union. And the information that was shared was just astounding. They talked about, for like the Bricklayers Union, they take absolutely anybody if you can do the work. They have a 12-week program where they will train you to do the damn job.
Yes.
They will train you.
With welders and stuff, we have that in Murdoch.
Yes.
Pay them, take the class. They find the jobs for you.
The whole 9.
Yeah, the whole 9.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes.
I mean, and people have just gotten brainwashed
that unions are bad. Well, look at Tennessee. So they were going to unionize the new plant in Tennessee, right? Mm-hmm. And in order to make sure that those folks did not have the protection of a union, what happened? Bill
They gave them
Lee
something.
and the state got involved and said they were going to not give the tax breaks and things for that company if they allowed them to unionize.
Yep. Or what they'll do is they run the videos. You have to have steel-toe boots, so they'll give you a pair of boots. So you don't have to, you don't want the union. We'll take care of you. We'll take care of you. And no, they won't.
No.
They won't.
They won't, and they don't. And that's the thing. So I just want to make sure that, because let me tell you, one of the things that I'm most excited about is the discussion and the intention that I am seeing with unions and the Democratic Party realigning themselves together and being totally on. Tennessee passed a bill this year to give priority to state contracts to non-unions. See, I would challenge that shit all day, right?
What kind of state are you, though? See, Virginia's right to work. What's Tennessee?
So is Tennessee.
Well, then they can kind of do it.
I know, but my thing is that but people need to be, listen, until we change it, you see what I'm saying? We need to change it.
Yeah.
Right to work
And
is
what
bullshit.
We need to do is we need to get old retirees to go get jobs at these places and organize, because if you're the organizer, you're getting fired. I don't care. I don't care. You're going to be the one that's out the door. But if we get some old people that don't really care if they get fired,
Right.
they get the message in there. But
Yes.
I want to say, yes, the unions will work with the Democratic Party and step above. I taught you way back when you first started doing your lives. CWA, UAW, all of us worked these elections. So for Obama, I went in those hollers. I knocked on those doors, not for the Democratic Party, but because they were union workers, and I knocked on union worker doors. But like you said, does the party ever go out there and talk to those people? No.
And this is why, like what we talked about yesterday, right? This is why we have to start doing that, and you don't have to knock on people's doors and say, hey, I'm coming on behalf of the Democratic Party. No, come and talk to people about their pay and their wages and Head Start and public education and their health insurance. And if you're in Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia, you're going to talk to them about the medical monopoly that was created, right? So listen, folks, and there is nothing more powerful than solidarity. So Adam was talking about the bricklayers. So they're working this job, right? There's another company that is there. It's a group of plumbers, right? Because they're building this new facility, right? This new corporation. And the plumbers are trying to unionize, and they are pushing back against them, right? So guess what they did? The plumbers went on strike, and the bricklayers, that union, went on strike with them, even though they were already a union, just to be in solidarity. And guess what? That plumbing company goddamn unionized.
Yes. If you stick together, guys, if we stick together, it doesn't just work for unions.
It works for everybody.
If all of us call into work tomorrow, they cannot fire us all, because it's all of us.
Yep. And let me tell you, so I'll tell you how we saw that. Blue Honey Pot, I'll tell you how we got to see when Kingsport made that new ordinance, right? And they were trying to end our protest. And they came out this day and said they were going to give us all a citation if we were there the next day, right? So here's what happened. I went live and I told everybody that this unconstitutional ordinance, which it was, that had been weaponized against us to end free speech, which it was, that they were planning to come out the next day and issue us citations. So do you know what happened? Yeah. About 30 people came out the next day and we were all lined up in protest. Yeah. Guess what they did? Fucking Kingsport KPD drove up the street and drove back down the street, and they went away. And then the next day they came at like 7 a.m. before anybody else could get there, and they cited 4 of us. And then I proceeded to kick their ass in court. So because fuck them.
I will tell you, talking about the plumbers, I have a 16-year-old, and I have told him since he was 5 years old, I want you to be a plumber. Be a plumber. People are always going to shit, honey. Be a plumber. Be a plumber. You can start your own business, and then you don't have to do the muck anymore. Because, yes, I was raised, you were raised, get a college education, go into the military, get a college education. Well, I didn't, and I didn't go in the military, but I got lucky. My card got picked by the union company, and I got lucky.
That's
But these
amazing.
kids, I have not pushed them for college. I have said, do what makes you happy. Don't get yourself in a world of debt with a degree that you cannot use in this world.
Listen, when I found out about the internships and the apprentice programs that the unions offer and that they put you up in union facilities so you have somewhere to stay while you're
Yes.
doing it, and they literally don't care. They don't care anything about you other than can you do the work. When I say
Right.
that, they don't care your gender, they don't care your color, they don't care your
Right.
they don't care not a bit of that. They are just, and it was astounding. There were people in the room that were like, shit, can I be a bricklayer? And he was like, if you can do the work, come holler at me, right?
I'm so glad that you got to go and that they were there. That gives me hope that they were all there.
Yeah.
Because before Southwest Virginia was CWA, auto workers, and miners, and that was it.
Yeah.
And the coal miners were good, but then they got big for their britches. They just did. But it's okay. You know, they're still there. They still fight for each other.
Yep. And so this is what he said. So oh my God, his name is Rob. Why am I thinking of like a comedian? Hold on. President, Michigan, AFL-CIO. That's what I'm looking for. What in the absolute hell? I don't know what I typed, but somehow I got something about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. What?
Oh, no.
That is not what I was looking for. Yeah, his name is Bieber. That's his name. His last name is Bieber. Ron. That's his name. So listen, so here's the thing that he was talking about. He said AFL-CIO is like the union of unions. So the members of AFL-CIO are the actual unions themselves. And he said, listen, he said, here's the thing. He said, you know, sometimes we have disagreements within our unions, within our organizations. And, you know, they might leave AFL-CIO for a year or two and then they come back. And, you know, he said, you're always going to have that. But the bottom line is that if we are all in the same place at the same time, if we are all in the same, we are going to be in solidarity. And they told the story, and I shared this with you guys once before. They talked about how UAW got the GM contract. They literally took over 4 of their plants in 1936. Thank you, Witch. Can you all imagine? And they talked about 20 workers being in those buildings and refusing to go to work, and them being so against them, they brought out the damn National Guard, y'all.
Yeah.
And they said that the women would show up, the wives would come with food and just walk in holding their arms up to bring food to their husbands that were in the plant. But y'all, that's the power of the people. That's the power that they are hoping we have forgotten exists within all of us when we come together.
How do we get it back, Danny?
Well, so this is my thing. It comes with these types of conversations. It comes with sharing and reminding everybody who the people are together, right? This idea of, you know, this chasing the bag and being, you know, I'm a CEO. I'm going to be a this. I'm going to be a that. Listen, the way we have to start being, and this is why. So listen, some of y'all aren't going to like me saying this, but swallow your fucking ego and get on board. Because listen, the way that we get it back is by doing what I say all the time, showing people how much we care before we try to tell them how much we know. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So yes, hold on, Titan just knocked my damn mouse down. And it wasn't a real mouse. It was this mouse. But anyway, but yes, it means being in solidarity and having conversations with people that don't agree with you on everything else, on maybe too much of anything else. But here's the thing. The only thing that I know for sure, if I talk to every Republican back home, not talking about politics, but if I just ask them, do you want your school, your public school for your child to be top notch? Do you want them to get a good education that is accurate in history? They're going to say yes, right? Mm-hmm. If I say, how hard would it be for you if your public school's closed and they somehow had a private school that was all the way in Gray or Johnson City? What would happen to you getting your child to school, right?
Right.
Those are conversations that all of us can have with the people in our communities, in our lives, and being able to demonstrate, not with arguing. And because I tell people all the time, if it had been Democrats in Northeast Tennessee that created ballot health, I'd be ripping them a new ass just like everybody else, right?
Exactly.
But it wasn't. It was the Republicans back home because that's all we got. But my point is, it's not about Republican or Democrat, and we have to stop letting them push that against us. It's about you find the policies that resonate with who you are as a person. Are we going to have some people that are shitty people? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not the people that we're trying to reach.
Well, with the union thing, now they'll back a Republican.
Yeah.
There's a questionnaire they fill out to
Yep.
get the support. And if you answer those questions right, we will support you and campaign for you too. But
Yep.
if you get in there and flip on us, then we will be in your office. Like I used to go lobby in these people's offices years ago. So, it's just, like I said, I had kids and I left the political scene a little bit. You have brought me back, and I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. You give people hope, Danny. You really do. You give people hope. You make us believe in ourselves to be able to do it.
Because
All
we
the
can.
stuff she's teaching us, guys. She probably thinks I'm afraid because I won't come to any of her trainings. I know a lot of this stuff, and I don't want to take a seat that one of y'all can learn from her because she is on the money, guys. She is on the money, and if we all get out here and do it, I believe we can win. I really believe we can win across the board. We saw Australia do it. We saw Canada do it. Guys, we are smarter than all of them.
I don't know about that, but here's what I will say. I will say we are just as smart as those countries.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We are just as.
Danny is still in there. We're the best. We're the best. We're the best.
I know it's still in there. I know. So, but see, do you see how quickly I caught it?
Yes.
Because that is what we do. Oh, we're better than the rest of the world. We're just as good as them, or we can be, right? And again, so this is the part. So some of the things that we have to do, and this was what I was asking everybody is, are we checking the people in our community? So when you see your people, yeah, baby, you need help. I said, did y'all hear what she said?
I didn't.
I said, do you need help? She said, no, I want some noodles.
Come on, Grandma.
It's lunchtime. But when what's crazy is I can like hot dogs, like you want something noodles. And I'm like, oh dear God. But yeah, so
and that's a good way to calculate
Brianna.
The economy too. How many flavors of noodles do they have at the grocery store?
Mm-hmm.
They used to just have chicken. I bet you could go now, you can find some beef, some shrimp, some oriental, some of this, some of that, because people are poor and we have to buy noodles to support our families. Listen,
I literally have been thinking about, okay, so where do we need to make shifts? I talked to my niece about going to, so Brianna, I can't be on the pork flavor. I got to do chicken. I try to do as little pork, if no pork at all, if possible. So, but chicken I'm good with. I just, when your daughter's boyfriend owns a potbelly pig and like, it's like one of the kids, you can't really. Plus they're smart. Listen, they are super smart and they don't have sweat glands.
Right.
So everything that goes in them does not get sweated out. I just want y'all to know that thing about pigs. Now you go on and do your bacon if you need to. I hear you, MG Brock. I never thought I would give up bacon, but I have. And I haven't had bacon since 2015.
Well, Danny, I can't do that when my grandfather was a pork farmer. So
I know, I hear you. I'm just saying. So okay. So let me do this. Phantom, can you hold me down with a commercial break? You guys give me 1 second. I'm going to go help Mila real quick. And then I'm going to come back because I have some really important stuff that I want us to get into on this live today. Okay. Look, Cricket said, great. I was just about to eat some ham. Sorry about that.
Welcome in, everybody. Tap the screen. Make sure you tap the screen. Let's get her up to 100K before she gets back. Make sure you send your daily heart me, so it only costs 1 coin to send those. Also, make sure you share live. You can also Don't have to share to a specific person. If you hit the share button and hit copy link, that counts as a share. Make sure you are subscribing. For those of you that are on TikTok, you can subscribe directly through TikTok. And also join her Discord by hitting the star on the bottom left and hitting connect. Then it'll connect you into Discord once you have Discord downloaded. And it'll give you your subscription badge right off the bat. For those of you on YouTube and Facebook, if you want to subscribe to Dana directly, in her profile, she has a link tree. There's a little robot remote control looking thing at the top of her link tree. If you tap that, join her Discord, you will be joining as a non-subscriber. But once you go through this task that you have to do to actually get into the Discord server, the last task is her subscription link to subscribe to her directly. There's 2 links. One for the subscription, so you can do her basic subscription. That's the same as TikTok subscription. Or you can do a higher level to get into some of her other programs. Once you do that, there's a second link for a Google form that you fill out so we can attach your subscription to your Discord name and give you the correct badge accordingly. And that would give you the same access as the TikTok subscribers to get access to all of her subscriber events, subscriber viewing shows, videos, movie nights, all the things that she does on Discord for her subscribers. Sorry. And also, I just wanted to add a little bit to the union thing, because I do see both sides for the people that don't like unions and the people that, because I'm a union person. I used to work for US Airways, and CWA was our union. And when we merged with the
stepchild, weren't you? Y'all were the stepchild.
We were, but
Yeah.
we had so many good benefits though with CWA.
Right, but I was there when they were organizing y'all, and yeah, it
But then when we
takes
merged with
time. That's the
Americans,
sad part.
They wanted to take away our external union and do a in-house union, and we were like, no, because in-house unions are for the company, and exterior unions are for the people that work for the employees. And that's the part that I see where the difference is, because some of these companies do have interior unions or in-house unions, and they're for the company and not the people, so they get screwed at the long end, which is why they're like, I don't like unions. You got to be careful with that and be involved with your unions, because if you're not involved with your union doesn't know what it can do for you.
100%.
Yes.
100%. Thank you, Phantom. So for those of us who do not know, Phantom holds me down in the Discord world. Veronica, I saw that you sent me a message. I will read it and get back to you. I just wanted you to know that I did see it, because sometimes I don't see things. And I haven't been getting all of my notifications. I had somebody tell me today, I've called you like 3 times. I was like, what are you talking about? I have no missed calls. So I don't know if something's going on with my phone or not. So if you have scheduled, if you are a gold or platinum subscriber and you have scheduled a one-on-one with me, because they get 4 of those a year for platinum subscribers, we do like an hour one-on-one via Zoom. If you've scheduled that, send me a message and just let me know that you have, so I can go look and make sure, because holy crap, just saying, I don't know what's going on, but I think I missed Eric yesterday because I didn't get a notification that he had scheduled anything. So I'm going to go in and just check on my notification settings and make sure something isn't off. So, but yeah, appreciate you, Blue Honey Pot and Phantom, both for holding me down and adding to the conversation. So appreciate you. All right. Thanks, Ez. So let me just say this. In my opinion, the top 2 conversations that we need to be having to build relationships and get us prepared for the Virginia election and the New Jersey election that is happening. Those are happening this year. Okay. And then to get us ready for midterms is going to be healthcare and education. And then sadly, you all, by the time we get to the fall, we will be able to start having really serious economic conversations. And I hate to say that because I would like to not say that, but I really do believe that to be true. I saw a post, and of course, I went to make sure it was true. So there is a trucking company that that is, I think there's been a few now that have closed this year. Okay. And just recently, LTI Trucking Services, which was a major Illinois-based trucking company, all of a sudden, with no warning, shut their doors and let go of 250 drivers. They issued a notice. It said that they had exhausted all of the options. They have not filed for bankruptcy. Oh, did he withdraw? Love that, teacups. Love that. We'll get to that in just a second. But I just want to let you all know that Sammy J said, "Are we great yet?" So somebody, the person who posted it was a trucker and said, think twice before getting into this industry, which is crazy because we just said everybody has been talking about how trucking is one of those things. Think about during C-19. That wasn't those were essential people that we needed, right? And so Sammy J said, that's what Mel Gray, that's what T-Kip just said. So for those of you guys who missed it when we were talking about it yesterday, the court had said that Allison Griggs needed to go ahead and be certified as the Democratic winner of the North Carolina Supreme Court. People were wondering, he had 7 days to appeal. He conceded today. So Griffin conceded. It's a done deal. He's not going to appeal the judge's decision. They've exhausted all that they're going to exhaust, and we won. It's over. Yes, baby. Yep, they're cooking, baby. I'm going to get them in just a second. So yay. Like, as we're talking about one really yucky thing, that's one really great thing, right? So we were celebrating it yesterday. Today we can really, really celebrate it. But I want you all to remember back to C-19. And I think that, so this is one of the things that is horrible about where we are and how short-sighted we are, or how short our memories are. Because we are in this breaking news every 5 minute kind of world now, we quickly forget the severity of what we experienced during C-19. You know that, y'all? I think that you have forgotten the days where you couldn't get necessarily toilet tissue or paper towels or certain products that you wanted. What it was like for especially that first year and something. Yeah, I don't forget, but I believe that a lot of people have forgotten. What's up, Joan? I didn't see you. Hey, Angie. And I don't think it, because if they remembered, they could not have voted the way they did, right? Cheryl said, I didn't forget, one of my kids' meds was hard to get. Right. And so I think that people need to really start to, not to sound like an alarmist at all, because I don't live in that world, but being smart and making preparations is a good thing, right? Finding out when your local farmers market is going to start. Most of them start this month, depending upon where you live, right? But in the South, they start this month. Find out when your local farmers market is open and up and running, and go get locally made things, locally farmed things, right? That way you're helping out your local farmers, and you're hopefully getting things that are, the last Chinese ship was arriving Friday, and then so they said then we will get to feel like America first. Folks, Danielle Denise, that was the baby shortage, special baby formula stuff wasn't available. All of those things are things that we are facing. So listen, when we talk about misinformation, I want to be clear that I'm not just talking about one particular party or the other. Although one particular party does absolutely do that, okay? It is on both sides. And we've seen that with Democratic people saying that the GOP voted to deport U.S. citizens, which is not what happened. We see that when people say, "Oh, the GOP Congress has passed resolutions taking away the authority of federal judges so that Trump can just do whatever." We see that with all of these. They take a little bit of fact, twist it into something to try to make it scarier, when the reality is the truth is scary enough. The truth is enough. So we have to be in the business of fact checking all sides on all the issues and putting out the accurate information, and then having conversations with our neighbors about the issues, right? So tell me why, when you're speaking my mind, Rebecca Littlebird, I got more Moodles yesterday. I guess let me ask the question, because somebody told me to check out this 115 page lawsuit against Doge. And so I'm asking why, because there are several of them that have been filed. But I guess I'm asking, hi Rebecca on YouTube. Coolest mom ever says hi Rebecca on YouTube, which is Kathy. But I'm asking this question. The reason why I'm asking why, why? Tell me why you think I should check it out. And the reason I'm asking that, listen, it's filed by the American Oversight and other organizations. It argues that that the use of Signal and Google Docs for sensitive communications and potential unauthorized access to federal payment system violate transparency laws and threaten the integrity of public records. I get that. I agree with that argument. Here's the reason why I'm questioning this. I'll take a look at it to see if it's something that we want to discuss. So like we did look at lawsuits around, we did look at lawsuits from Jack Smith and all of that. And we did read those transcripts and all of those things. So I'll take a look at it. I'm always careful to make sure that I'm focused on things that we really, really need to know, and that I don't get distracted. Does that make sense? Like there's several different lawsuits, and I don't want us to get distracted and not really working on the things that can move us forward and bring things to fruition. So that's why I was saying, tell me why. Tell me why you want me to look at this one. Because I think that it's important, because it's one of those things, like this is another thing that is in my 3, right? It's in my 3 because I can't control it and I can't influence it. The only thing that would matter to me about this particular lawsuit, or any of them, is if any of the information in it would be helpful in the areas and the places where we do have influence, right? Kathy Rebecca said, hey. So that would be the thing for me is there information in this lawsuit that would help us in the areas where we do have influence? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Phantom, I don't know why you went away. You're like, I don't know. That's just really weird. But okay. So, let me do this because her Moodles are cooking and I do need it. But I do want to look at it. Girl, you didn't answer me. Why you didn't answer me? Hold on. I was asking what was in it. Why you didn't answer me? And then all I saw was I got it. You should have told me, like, give me a little something. I'm just saying. You got me over here Googling stuff. You could have just said, girl, because it's got this and this and this. You need to check it out. When people just give me generic things, it makes my brain, it's hard for my brain to just take that in and do something with it. But okay. The Signal stuff does, shut up, Jim Penn. So but the signal stuff and all of those things does matter. Yeah, we've been on for about an hour and a half, Wawa. About an hour and a half we've been on. What's up, Ebony Chainsaw? So other things that I wanted to talk about because I clipped them up. Oh, hold on. I need to pull up this last little thing. There is that one. You rescheduled for, okay. Oh, I can't read the rest of it, but I saw the notice come in. All right, give me 1 second, folks. I want to pull this up. Okay, so important things to know. Nora has not passed the Senate. It did pass the House. We need to be about the business of, she said, you want to restart? Nope. No. No, I do not. However, we are getting ready to get into some really good stuff that you're probably going to want to hear. So let me pull this up really quick because I'm actually going to go through exactly what this is and the places where, because I don't know where my thing went that I had it pulled up. I'm going to talk specifically about the places where it affects small towns, rural people, and certain programs that I think is important for folks because it's important for everybody to know. So let me see if I can. Yeah. I don't want to hear your bullshit about it. I just want to read the actual cuts, please. What, baby? I said, I don't want to hear your bullshit about it. And she goes, really, Tutu? Yeah, girl, really. That's what I said. Y'all, she's a mess. She is a mess. Really, Tutu? Yeah, girl, really. Right, Jules, I said what I said. One more thing. Hold on, guys. I got to get her noodles off the stove. One more second. She is so funny, but she is, like my mama said, she's 4 going on 50. That is for sure. 4 going on 50. For sure. For sure. Girl, you doing the most, Mila. Mila, move. Okay. All right, girl. All right, here we go. What? What? I don't know what you just said, chick. All right, give me a second, y'all. I'm coming. Y'all just be doing lunch with me, breakfast with me, potty time with me, like all the things with me, because we got to make life happen. And let me just say this. This is what I want you all to think about when you all are doing all the things. What's up, Casey? When you all are doing all the things that you have in your life and you're like, I can't do this because I know, Veronica, we just talked about it. Now thanks, Cam. Now you're craving noodles. It says that there's 411 of 500 is what it says, Cam. But let me just say this, you all. Don't be waiting on perfect to get something done. Don't wait on perfection. Perfection is not a real thing. And you need to know that, right? So if I ever waited for my house to be completely quiet for me to get something done, I'd be waiting for fucking ever because it's not a thing that happens, right? If I was waiting for any of those things, you see what I'm saying though? Like, it's just useless. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. I don't have time to wait on something to be perfect. We have things to do right now. And so we are going to imperfectly get things done rather than waiting on perfection and then never taking action. Okay. So I think that is important for people to remember. Perfection is never going to happen. It's not a thing. Oh, I'm so glad I just saw that. Thank you for that reminder. Listen, I want you all to remember that in case you do not know this, JD Vance's brother is running for mayor. Listen, in Ohio, JD Vance he is advancing to run for mayor girl, I have your noodles right here. She said, tutu moodles. Yeah, I want to go ahead and I wanted to tell you all about this. Give me a second. JD Vance, brother, mayor. There it is. So here it is. Cincinnati mayoral race. Okay. JD Vance's half brother, Corey, is his name is Corey Bowman. He is JD Vance's half brother, and it is set. So the incumbent, Aftab Puraval, will face newcomer Corey Bowman in the race for Cincinnati mayor this November, the Associated Press projects. The two candidates with the most votes in Tuesday's nonpartisan primary move on to the November election. And it says that Republican Brian Frank, is that his actual name or third or fourth? Shut up, Sammy J. See, I almost was going to answer you, and then I was like, oh no, she's being a smartass. Rebecca Littlebird said, I do so many things while watching or listening to you. Thank you for modeling good ADHD multitasking. Yeah, that is my life. That is my life. So, okay. Sissy, you still might have to blow it. I mean, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's the deal. So I just want to let you all know that, so that if you have people that live in Cincinnati, that they stay informed, that we understand that we do not need another JD Vance in any way, shape, or form in politics. And I know that sounds very judgmental, and it is. I don't even know nothing about this man. I really don't. I don't know anything. And I probably shouldn't be saying I don't want him in office because I don't know anything about him, and I should. Doe is he's JD Vance's brother, and I guess here's my thing, he hasn't come out against his brother, so that for me makes me hesitant. How about that? That's the thing. So like RFK Jr.'s family, they came out and said, don't vote for his ass. It's not a good idea. Whatever you do, don't do it, right? His name is Corey Bowman. And so I could trust them if they were going to run for office, because they came out and said, he ain't about shit. Don't elect him. Got that. I ain't heard nothing. Oh, Vance endorsed him. Thank you. There we go. I feel validated now. JD Vance endorsed him. That's enough. I'm validated now. Love that. Okay. I want to talk about a couple of different things for you guys. Okay. So that was one that I didn't want to forget, but this other thing is different. So 1 second, because this is important. So there is an article by, let me see if this has got what I want at the end. Oh my Lord. Why can't I find the exact thing that I want? Okay. I want to share something from you. How many of you guys that are parents? Right, Veronica. We know enough. So let me just, Nana for Elvis has been up here for some reason since the beginning. I want to see if that was a real tap or not. I think not, right? Because they're not connecting. Let me take it down. Yale's former partner in Yale Made is up for Secretary of Army nomination. I saw that. But we can't vote on that. That's a nomination. So, you know, there's not a lot we can do about that, right? So I'm not going to trip on that one. But how many of you all read Education Week? Do any of you all read Education Week or Higher Ed ever? It's a good thing to read, not only if you're in public education, but if you have kids in school. It's a good thing to pop into, you know, once every few months and just check the pulse of things to see where things are going. So this particular article It's edweek.org. This particular article answers the big questions about Trump's K through 12 budget proposal. Fuck my life. I knew this was coming. Thanks, Teresa. I knew they were coming. Let me see if they've come out on the site yet. I knew they were coming. Sorry, y'all. This is the ADD happening. But I need to. Yep, they came out yesterday. Let me look at this. I'll get to this, Teresa, in just a second. So for those of you all who don't know, let me make sure that my journalist friends know this. Give me 1 second. So the Tennessee Department of Health has done a new terms of certification for our COPA, and that's never a good thing. Honestly, it's just never, ever, ever, ever a good thing. And so I need to pass it along to my journalist friends who have been following this story. Now, here's what's going to be interesting about this is that we got a backdoor glimpse into these negotiations when the Department of Health and the Tennessee and Ballot Health were going back and forth, because Brett Kalman of KFF Health News, he had done a FOIA request. Remember when we're talking about getting into good trouble and using FOIA requests? When he did this FOIA request, what happened is he ended up getting a bunch of emails that got included in it because they met the terms in which he was requesting. So he got internal emails between the Department of Health and Ballot Health where they were negotiating these new terms of certification. So this is the 5th time. The COPA was granted in 2018, January of 2018. This is 2025. So in 7 years, they have changed the terms of certification 5 times in 7 years. 5 times in 7 years. And almost every time it's in Ballard's favor, right? So in the beginning, they couldn't have non-compete clauses, and then they could. In the beginning, they couldn't do this, and now they can. Like, it's almost always that. Yeah, this is important. So I need to no, don't do that. Okay, thank you. Jesus. Are you laughing, girl? You are? Okay, so now what I'm doing very quickly is telling them, sorry guys, new terms are out. Okay. They may have already gotten it from another journalist that I know. The 3 of us kind of work together. So that again is me multitasking. So sorry folks, but if I don't do it right then, I will forget about it, which is how I sometimes forget to answer you guys. So let me go back over here. Now that I have the document, he said I'm in the thick of it now. Okay, so let me know if you find anything alarming. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go back to Education Week, because how many of you guys have children or nieces and nephews or grandbabies that are in K through 12 education right now? Who's running to lead the Bar Association? Ooh, Cheryl, I'll be pissed about that.
My phone died.
Your phone died? Okay. We can plug it up. All of you guys do? Okay, so then that makes this worth doing. I'm going to run through this document with you guys, okay? You ready? Let's do it. I have a couple different screens. So you are similar to me. Your babies are 13, 6, and 3. My babies are 11 and a half, 7, and 4. So right there, third grader from Arizona. Don't be worried, Sasha. Be concerned. Don't give it too much energy. I need y'all to understand different emotions carry more intense energy. We all know that, right? So listen, we can be concerned about things, but we're not going to be worried. We're going to be concerned about things, but we're not going to be scared. We're going to be concerned about things, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a proposal. It is not done. A bunch of it won't come into fruition, right? And you're not going to let them steal your power and your mindset. You are very welcome. You follow me? Be focused, not scared, concerned, not worried. Okay? Seriously, folks. It's so important when you come from that position with things. Sometimes people will ask me, how do I stay so grounded, so centered? It's that way. The things that I am sharing with you, that's how I stay grounded the way that I am. The way that I'm able to come to you every day and give you that type of guidance, that's how. Is because I remind myself of those types of things all the time, and I'm careful with my energy. Appreciate you, Smile City. All right, so let me give it to you. You guys ready? Here we go. And this is from Education Week. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Cheryl, enforcement. Gotcha. So here we go. President Donald Trump's first federal budget proposal. Keep that in mind. Proposal. Said of his second term last Friday kicked off a flurry of activity in the K through 12 education landscape as district leaders and policy watchers tried to make sense of sweeping cuts outlined in relatively scant detail. Thanks, Wawa. Let me say this. Now, this is something that you will find both in, so this is so familiar to me. Let me tell y'all something that I see happening across the board where it's all very similar. So in the Indiana COPA application, you hear the FTC talking about these claims that the hospitals were making with very little detail about how these things would be accomplished. Okay. In the ballot health application, the same thing was said, not just by the FTC, but two other experts as well. They were saying, listen, they make these claims, but there's no specificity about how these things are going to happen, right? So what I keep finding as a trend that just keeps showing up in these really crazy places where big things are happening in healthcare and education, what I'm seeing is big claims, big ideas with no damn detail as to how it's going to be done and exactly how it's going to be implemented and how it would work out. And that reminds me of something that Donald Trump said during the presidential debates, right? They have concepts of ideas. They have concepts of a plan. That's why they have these concepts, but they don't have the damn plan. They don't have the details. They don't have like everything that it will take to bring a thing to fruition. So they are passing these things. They are proposing these things based on these concepts without going far enough to figure out how they can be done and implemented. And then they're going to just implement them as they go, right? And let me just draw a comparison. So when I get ready to go live, a lot of times I know the subject matter. And then I have like 2 or 3 things that I know I'm going to touch on while I'm live, but I don't have every line of every minute or even every hour of what I'm going to talk about planned out for you, right? And that's fine because this is a show. This is me live giving you information, also being authentic, also being organic, and no one is going to unalive or go broke today listening to me. No one's gonna like not graduate from school. Nobody's gonna not get the special support that they need. Nobody's not going to. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna do any harm by getting on here with my concepts of what I'm gonna talk about and, some outlines and some things that I want to put together. That's cool. That is not the way to run the damn country. That is not the way to run major healthcare organizations and corporations. What are we doing? And it's damn sure not the way to run our public education system. But back to what Donald Trump said. So here it is. Y'all ready? It says, Trump is proposing to Congress that the federal government pull back billions with a B, billions of dollars in K through 12 education investments, consolidate more than a dozen disparate grant programs into a single state allocation, and potentially rejigger special education law for the first time since the early 2000s. Now, let me tell you something. All of that is very concerning. What they said is there are 12 different grant programs, and they are proposing to allocate them, put them together into one single state allocation, right? That's what they're saying. Next, they want to rejigger, isn't that a word for you? Rejigger special education law for the first time since the early 2000s. That's the bit that concerns me. That's the bit that concerns me. The administration plans to follow up on the quote unquote skinny budget that it shared on Friday with more detailed descriptions of its budget plans in the coming weeks. Congress may consider all or none of these proposals as it begins what will likely be a protracted process of shaping the federal government for fiscal 2026. Right. They want to tie it to parents' rights, which again was in Project 2025 and in Agenda 47. Okay. Education Week is tracking the potential impacts of Trump's proposals and trying to make sense of what's known and unknown. Here are answers to some of the key questions educators and districts are likely wondering. Oh, yay. Here's the other document that I wanted. Thank you. Love that. Okay. Yeah, baby. She said, really, Tutu? Yes. Oh, really, Helen? That's amazing. So you guys, Helen from Indiana just shared with me, yes, Mila, that the Certificate of Public Advantage will be the topic for the League of Women's Voters convention in June. That's amazing. Love that. If there's anything I can do to help, you know where your girl is at. Okay. That's incredible. And that's great because the kids are out of school too. So, woo, that's incredible. Yeah. Because they have time to stop their COPA. No, Cash, I'm not there yet. I will get to Harvard and how they responded in a minute. But first, I got to do this education stuff. Okay. That does make me excited though. So again, okay. Can I just pause for just a moment, you guys? Can we take this in for just a moment and follow the track of how these things happened? So listen, I'm on TikTok. Hell on Wheels starts following me on TikTok, becomes a subscriber, right? Then starts following me on my other social media platforms, sees me post something about the Indiana law for a COPA and me issue a dire warning because I've talked about Ballot Health's COPA. Then she gets together with the people in her area through the League of Women Voters, right? They put together a town hall over Zoom. I put together a panel of myself and 4 other medical professionals and health experts, right? We do this Zoom, we record it. I put it up on my YouTube channel, right? And now the League of Women Voters convention, the subject is going to be the damn COPA. That is amazing. When people tell me that online, that social media doesn't make a difference, that it's not a powerful organizer. Yes, it is. You can take what we do in this space and take it into offline activism to real meaningful work that can make a difference. Because y'all, the way that they changed Indiana's COPA law, if they are able to prevent the Department of Health and the Attorney General from giving a COPA to these two hospitals, guess what? Nobody else can apply for a COPA in Indiana. That's amazing. That is incredible. I just wanted to point that out. Look what can be birthed out of what we do here. Incredible. All right. So there are several sections and you can jump to them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this document into the link tree for you guys so that you have them. So let me just give you this. So when would the proposed changes take effect? Federal fiscal year 2026 starts October 1st. Okay. Yeah, I know, but it's not, we don't give a shit about the governor. The governor has nothing to do with this process. Do you know who makes the decision about this? The Indiana Department of Health and the Attorney General. The Indiana Attorney General has already spoke negatively about this COPA and how bad it would be for Indiana. So I don't care about the governor. The governor doesn't matter. What matters is the people and the health professionals and the doctors and the citizens making their voices known, communicating with the Department of Health, with the FTC, bringing in more people. You guys can absolutely contact the FTC. You can contact other medical professionals, other doctors, have them write letters. One of the most powerful things that was done in our region was a bunch of pediatricians got together and signed a letter and sent it to the Department of Health, to the FTC, right? Give me a second, Hazy. But the other thing that you can do is you get the people in your county, the physicians, different specialties, to put these letters together with all of their signatures combined together. Get your local mayor, your local county commissioners, your local city council, board of supervisors, whatever it is that you have there. And you get those people to get on board, and you let them know that if they're not on board, then they will be not reelected. It's just that simple. A COPA is a certificate of public advantage, which is a mechanism that creates a medical monopoly in your state, gives them antitrust protection, leads to higher costs, decreased quality, lower innovation, and bad things all around for everybody except the healthcare corporations that make a shit ton of money. That's what they are. Okay. So back to the education part of the proposed congressional budget that came from the president. Okay. So here's what it says. So most K through 12 education funding from the federal government, including for Title I and IDEA. So for those of you always who don't know what IDEA is, that is the Individual Development Education Act. Okay. That's a big law. That's a federal law that helps protect children with special education, teachers and things like that, with different support services that are needed in their education. Now, tomorrow, I highly recommend that you are here with myself and Cheryl. Cheryl is an advocate for parents with children that need IEPs and 504s. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about autism and being on the spectrum. We're going to be talking about ways to advocate. We're going to be talking about ways to, at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're also going to be talking about ways to advocate as an ally, using the right verbiage, the right terms, a way of doing things properly and in order to be effective. So that's tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Now, so this is a big deal. Okay. So, most of the education funding from the federal government and for Title I and IDEA is forward funded, which means states and schools receive money allocated in one fiscal year to spend in the subsequent fiscal year. So most of the fiscal 2026 funding wouldn't hit schools until July of 2026. in time to spend at the start of the next fiscal year in October of 2026. So is Trump proposing to cut Title I funding? Okay, so can you turn it down just a little bit, Sissy? So Title I funding is a federal program that provides supplemental funding to school districts that have high concentrations of students from low income families. That's what Title I does, just like in general. Okay. So the short answer is probably, and this is what they say. The budget proposal documents mention, quote unquote, preserving full funding for Title I, the supplemental federal financial assistance to school districts for children from low income families. And then it says flat funding would amount to more than $18 billion, though with inflation, those dollars likely won't go as far as they did in previous years. Right, Cheryl. So in the budget breakdown, which I have pulled up, we're going to go to that next. It shows cuts. So here are the few caveats. The budget doesn't entirely spare Title I money. It separately proposes to eliminate 2 programs for migrant students, totaling $428 million annually that falls under Title I law. So this is another place to discriminate. This is another place to target migrants. This is another place to be cruel to children that have nothing to do with any of that. How about that? 2 other lesser known programs within Title I, one that supports education for children and adults in prison, and another that funds state grants for comprehensive literacy instruction. They don't come up in the budget documents that the Trump administration has published so far. So there's nothing in there about those 2 things. It remains unclear whether the Trump administration is counting those programs as part of its pitch to, quote unquote, preserve the Title I funding. So if you guys want to stop this, what's the way to stop this? Contact your members of Congress. So you want to look at, and I will put the entire budget, and its breakdowns in the link tree for you so that you can see them and reference them in your communication to your elected officials. Okay? Turn it down just a little bit, Sissy. Good girl. It don't have to be all the way down, baby. Okay, but turn it down. I know y'all hear Frozen, right? If you were talking about $1,000 checks, oh, thanks, Penny. Appreciate you. If you're talking about the dinner and all of that, if it's coming out of his personal pocket, he can do whatever he wants to do. Although most presidents don't. So yeah. Oh, the $1,000 that he's offering migrants to self-deport. Yeah, he's not allowed to do that. Well, technically, don't make me lie. So listen, from an administrative perspective, there is money allocated for the Department of Homeland Security, right? And if they want to take that, yes, Frozen. If they want to take that and allocate part of that for it, they can. Congress outlines budgets and money, but the administration determines how it gets spent within that particular department. A retired PE teacher, persuade me what? If you mean to persuade me that you somehow know what you're talking about, no, you cannot, because you don't, ever. Needed to wash that down. Okay, so next. Does Trump propose to cut funding for special education? Of course, he doesn't say it specifically, but it will have an impact. And here's how it goes. The White House budget document says that IDEA should be funded at current levels, but with all of its separate grant programs consolidated into a single funding stream for states to distribute to schools. The document does not specify, however, whether it's proposing for funds in the consolidated grant program to flow to states and districts through the existing IDEA formula or through a new and separate formula, right? Boy, listen, come on. Since you want to come in here and act and ask today, I got time for you. Y'all, we're not going to entertain him for long, but I'm going to address that dumb shit that you just said. They do love me. Right. The separation keeps accountability to make sure that you have special money spent for special needs. No, I don't argue. I don't let you lie. So come on up here on the panel. I've done sent you an invitation. I don't argue. I just don't let you lie. And I don't let you pivot. And I ask you for sources. That's not arguing. You just don't know what to do with a strong female that is not your quote unquote queen. That's what's wrong with you. You think that any woman that speaks to you in a firm manner is arguing. No, sir. That's not arguing. Right? You have a problem with strong women, which is why I don't know why you keep coming back. Something deep inside you must want to grow. Something deep inside you wants to be better, or you wouldn't continue to come here. It's the same guy.
Yeah.
So that's what your problem is. Right, Candy Kiss, baby carrot energy. So are you coming up here today or not? And I understand if you can't handle it, but I'm just going to say that. You know what I mean? But I'm going to tell you the reason why I stopped what I'm saying is because today you did something you don't normally do. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that this might be the thing that does bring you to experience a different type of energy from me. And I'll tell you what that is. You came in here and you said, no Blue, no matter who. And then you said this, propaganda live. Now that is the comment that made me pause, because you called me propaganda, which we know is not true. Right? We know that to not be true. And that's the first time you've been brave enough to say that type of shit in here. So what I'm going to say to you, right, is unless you are ready to come on up here and talk about your comment and to provide specifics, you might want to take that raggedy ass energy to somebody else's space and not mine. Or go talk to your queen, because she might be able to deal with that type of stuff. And she might let you say stuff like that. I don't. So if you want to come on up here, you got about 10 seconds to do so. If not, yes, my mods can boot your ass right on out of here. Yeah, he real quiet now. Yeah, that's what you're not going to do. Yeah. Take your pretend to be alpha ass on out of here. Ain't nobody got no time for that. So when we talk about consolidating these grants together, right? That does do a couple of different things, right? Well, no, I heard her in the background talking. Hayes, I heard her in the background talking. Yeah, I heard her. And this is my thing. So I heard her too, Cam. And this is my thing. You know, if that's what she likes, then more power to her. But that ain't me. right? That is not me. I prefer men who are so sure of themselves that my strength is an asset and not scary. I prefer men that know that my ability to lead and assert does not diminish their ability to do so as well. I just prefer men that go, damn, look at her doing that. You better go ahead, girl. I love and that's what. So let me give you. I'm gonna give y'all a real life example. I like men like a Doug, like the first gentleman that is a master in his own right, that is the fixer for his law firm, that is brilliant, that is amazing, that is strong, that does all of those things, and then can let his wife be. And when I say let, it ain't like he could do anything about it, but her growth, her becoming a senator, her becoming the vice president, her doing all of those things, take nothing away from who he is. That's the thing that's beautiful. Yeah. Ain't nobody telling me what to do. And I'm not telling my husband what to do. We either going to be a team or we're not. Can't do it. I married one man who said that my intelligence is what made him cheat. I will never marry a man that is bothered by my intelligence again. Ever. So, moving along now. Back to the education things, right? Yeah, that's a real thing, y'all. That's a real thing. All right, so let me just say this. The problem with what they're saying, right, Lisa? The problem with what they're saying about idea funds, right? They're not specifying how those funds would be dispersed, and how they would do it and what they would do and what the specific plan is for it. And so that's a problem. Okay. So they really do, Veronica. Stephan, a lot of men say that intelligence is a turn on until you are in a committed relationship with intelligence and the regular bullshit that you're used to doing doesn't work. And you know what I hear? And so just on this note, before we keep going, I hear this all the time. Oh my gosh, your brain is so beautiful. And I'm like, tell me that 6 months from now. Tell me that 6 months from now. Because listen, the brain is one thing. When you combine the brain with my intuition and discernment, it can be a lot. So, right. So just saying. Thank you, Jen Penn, for that reminder. Yeah. So listen, this is why, I mean, just real, Veronica said, that's a good reminder. Yeah, I'm just saying. So like, here's the thing. Right. And if I'm too much, go find less. 100% all day, every day. Yes. And you know what? And I'm going to keep it 100% real. One of my friends and I were having this, we were having this conversation the other day when I was driving up to the Virginia Democratic Rural Caucus. And we were chatting. We're both around the same age. We're in our early 50s, right? And we were talking about, you know, she was like, I'm dating for something real, and I'm dating for this, and I'm dating for a relationship, not for whatever. And I said, you know what? I said, here is the thing. For me, right now, I'm not dating because I don't have time to date, right? I don't have time right now in my life. I'm sure if I met the right person, I would find a way to make time, right? And I am so fulfilled with the work that I do and who I am and my family. Like, I'm so full with who I am and what I've cultivated for myself. I don't miss dating someone. I don't miss the extra that comes with it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm totally okay. So If it's not an addition to those things, right? Noise. Yeah, I just don't. And she was like, really? And I said, yeah, girl, really? Really? Like, yeah. And it's not just like I don't have to worry about what to cook or eat or whatever, because I have to do that with the kids, right? I don't get to eat or whatever, just like whenever, but it's different. It's different. And yeah, I guess if I ever run into something that makes me want to do whatever, yeah, I've got it pulled up, Teresa. I got it all pulled up already. Yeah. Like I just like it sounds crazy, but I love the work that I do. I love yeah, obviously I do, or I wouldn't do this all the time, right? So yeah. But anyway, all right. So let me tell you this. So structuring the grant programs for IDEA, maybe one day we'll do like a non-political, non-policy live where we just talk about personal things and personal growth. Maybe we'll do like a workshop around that or a Zoom on that, something like that, right? Maybe we'll do that. But listen to this. Changing the structure of the grant programs that flow through the existing IDEA formula would require Congress to amend federal special education law, which it hasn't done in more than 2 years. Right, a virtual happy hour or something like that. Yeah, we might do that. So I think that that's important. So what we would understand is that if they wanted to structure those grant programs differently, it requires Congress to pass legislation to make that happen. So I think that part is important as well, right? Right, Teresa. It would be like old times. So if lawmakers instead decide to create a new funding stream, then states would have a new revenue for special education that doesn't tie them to the rules and regulations of the IDEA law, which turned 50 years old this year. Oh, that would be bad.
Yeah.
Some states could then decide to not do federal IDEA funds, collect the money from a new stream, and use those to offer special education programs according to their own rules and their own priorities. That's important, y'all. I need y'all to hear what I'm saying to you. If Congress wanted to pass this proposed budget for education the way that it is, and they wanted to create a new funding stream, right, that's not specifically for IDEA, and give those consolidated grants through that funding stream, then the states that choose to take it from there instead of through the IDEA funding would then not be held accountable to the IDEA laws and all of the regulations and requirements that come with it. So there would be no accountability, and not only that, but you would lose the ability to enforce it. Right? You'd have another way to discriminate. Yep. And I'm gonna tell you now, you can mess with a lot of things, but my babies ain't one of them. So listen to this, what it says. They could, as Project 2025 suggests, allow federal special education funds to flow directly to parents for private educational expenses. Did you hear me? Specifically, Project 2025 suggests that they take this IDEA funding and have that money go straight to parents for them to use for private education expenses. So let me just say this to you all in the best way that I can possibly say it. Yes, I do know how many. Wawa. Hold on, let me say this. So listen. I'm a pretty smart person, right? And I'm not an educator. I'm pretty well informed. I know how to like really do accurate research and things like that. And I still am not an educator. I'm not trained in the education system. I am not, you understand what I'm saying? So if it's on Carla, it's on Facebook and YouTube. So if I would not, right, not by trade, see, that's what I mean. So this is what I'm saying. If I would not want the responsibility of taking education funding and appropriately like doing it for my child, I think about the number of parents when you consider that the majority of this country, 54% only reads at a 6th grade level. Why would we want those people in charge of our children's education? I want my grandchildren and children to be better educated than I was, right? I want my children and grandchildren to have better educational opportunities than I had in life, right? So why would I want to put those individuals in charge of their children's education? No. Right? If you want to be involved in your child's education, attend your board meetings, your board of education meetings. If you want, no, and oftentimes private schools are worse than public schools. Right? And private schools also don't have the same requirements when it comes to what they can or can't teach in terms of religion, in terms of, history and things like that, right? So I think it's really important for people to think about this and about how necessary it is to be very vocal about these proposed changes, okay? They would be unburdened from federal requirements, including to maintain consistent spending levels from year to year and to submit regular progress reports to federal agencies. States could also trim their own special education investments and might be more compelled to do so if fears of a recession come true. So if these states, so follow me, just like the person in the comments just said, the person in the comments said, I would use that money for more immediate needs. And that's what they're talking about. They say the exact same thing. These parents, if we are in a recession, are going to feed their families before they worry about education for their children. Yes or no? Yes. So I will tell you this. The $12 billion program for early childhood education isn't mentioned in the budget proposal, but an anonymous administration official told reporters last week that Trump is proposing, quote unquote, no changes to Head Start. But that doesn't mean that they're leaving it alone, right? It closed 5 of the 10 regional offices whose employees for decades provided crucial support and oversight for Head Start providers. The Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has imposed new hurdles on routine applications for providers' funding and reauthorization. Expected grants have been delayed, causing some providers to temporarily shut down and lay off staff. And last week, the administration, quote unquote, inadvertently publicized a list of research projects up for termination that included several covering Head Start programs. So I want you all to remember, just because there's a subwave. So there's 12 minutes for 3 more subscribers. So when we're in a subwave, it means, so I have like the lowest, oh shit. So I have one of the lowest subscriptions available on TikTok. It's $2.99 a month. that when a subwave is going on, I think it takes like 30 cents off of that for the first month or something like that. So it's got us in a subwave, and it says that there's like 11 minutes or so for 3 more people to meet that deal. Okay. All right. So I want y'all to understand. It's like a flash sale, right, Cam? So let me just tell y'all this. They don't have to say, "Oh, thanks, Angel Snow, for subscribing." Angel's gifting subscriptions. Thank you. So listen, just because they don't say we're going to cut Head Start, there are other ways to do that. Appreciate you subscribing, Cricket. There are other ways to get around it. When you change certain grant programs, when you shut regional offices that support that program, you inevitably change that program. You inevitably, shut it down or take things away from it. So I think that people need to understand that they are all about finding the ways to do the things, even if they don't say they're doing the thing, right? Several state Head Start associations and parent advocacy groups are suing the Trump administration and aiming to convince a court to halt these disruptions. The Health and Human Services Department, which oversees Head Start, did not request for comment. Did not respond to requests for comments. So, which programs does Trump want to eliminate? Thanks, Hayes. You're welcome. When it comes to education, I'm going to give it to you. The budget proposal lists 8 K through 12 programs that Trump wants to get rid of entirely. It also proposes consolidating 18 existing programs into a single K through 12 education block grant. You guys are absolutely crushing subscriptions right now. I appreciate you very much. My people are awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you, Michigan. All right. So I think this is alarming to me. This is alarming to me. So listen, it proposes to cut 8 K through 12 grant programs entirely. And then it proposes to consolidate 18 existing programs into a single K through 12 education block grant for states, get this, to spend as they please. Now, they haven't said which ones are included, which ones will stay as they are, and which ones will be cut entirely. What's up, Kat? So the biggest program explicitly slated for elimination is Title III, which supplies close to $900 million a year for support services for the nation's more than 5 million students who are English learners. So again, we are targeting migrant students. We're targeting migrant students. Now, this is the thing that gets me. Y'all busy talking about they need to speak English, but you want to take away the programs that are teaching them fucking English. 2 more subs are needed, extended subwave. That's awesome. Appreciate that. So listen, I just want y'all to listen at the absolutely most asinine thing ever. You walk around saying, y'all need to speak English, speak English, speak English. But then you want to take away $900 million a year that supports teachers that teach them English. What's wrong with you? I can't. I cannot with y'all. Appreciate you guys. Right? Trump also wants to get rid of $428 million across 2 grant programs that help schools serve children of mobile farm workers and fishermen who move from place to place depending on the season. You did the 3 months? Thanks, Mama Dukes. I appreciate you. Is this not crazy? Do y'all hear this? So farmers and fishermen that move from place to place, depending on the season, right? They want to get rid of the $428 million across 2 grant programs that help schools take care of those children. I'm going to put it in the link through tree as soon as I'm done. China is offering housing and financial aid to international students. Go figure. Of course they are. Of course they are. This is absolutely crazy.
What time is it?
I appreciate all of you guys that are coming together and subscribing and gifting subscriptions and doing all the things. Holy crap. I really do. Y'all are incredible. All right. So let me do, no need to educate if they're not here. Right, Rebecca Littlebird. So, and let me just tell y'all this. So I intend to write some Substacks this week. I have to get everything scheduled. Now that I'm back doing lives every single day and maybe twice a day, then I need to schedule writing for Substack as well as, thank you, Jen Penn, as well as recording for the podcast. So I will get there. Hey, Mimi,
Yeah.
will you help me?
Yeah.
Thank you. Will you get Tutu some water from the thing?
Yeah.
Thank you. And then I have something for you, okay?
Okay.
Okay. When Tutu gets done, do you want to go to the playground?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Boo. All right. So let me give you this next part. Preschool development grants that are currently worth $315 million a year would stop flowing if
I get your mom water.
you got, well, I don't want small water. Can I have medium water?
No.
Right,
No,
Cam.
no,
Here.
No. No.
Yeah, Cheryl. Yeah. Here,
No.
please.
No. No.
Okay, well then I guess you don't want this.
Okay.
Sure, I gotta tell y'all, when Mila gets water, if she fills it up a lot, she'll say, I got big water. So just now she brings my cup over and she's, I got little water, and like there's barely any water in it. And I said, can I have medium water? She was like, nope. And I said, no. And she said, no. And I said, well, I guess you don't want this. And she goes, okay. She's over there getting my water. Okay, that's enough, sissy. Go ahead, Cheryl.
I wanted to mention one thing real quick, that there are a lot of Republicans that would not agree with this, especially if they understand it. So this is something we absolutely, honestly, should be an easier thing for us to advocate against.
Yes.
So I just wanted to mention that, following what Danny is breaking down, if you take notes as how this is going to affect education, and any of you guys who actually know how some of these things already work and what this will do, that's what you need to be talking to your reps in Congress about, because a lot of them, unless they've got a child in any of these programs,
You're welcome.
they don't
Thank you.
know that that's how these things work. All they're going to see is, oh, well, they're just consolidating in the way they're presenting it, streamlining, it's making it easier for everybody. That's not what it's doing. And you've just got to use those things to talk to them about, to help them understand, because a lot of reps are for public education. Not
Yep.
all of them, but there are ones out there, and they just need to understand better what this will do. So I'm just giving you a tip of one way to advocate. This is something that's worth, it's all worthwhile, but you know what I mean? Like,
This
it
is one that
won't
we can get people to
wasted
listen
time.
on.
So
Yeah.
I just wanted to share that real quick, and
Appreciate
and the
it,
best way
Cheryl.
to get that info out there. Anyway,
Yep.
I'll drop now. I got things to do too.
Appreciate you. Okay, so listen. So Cheryl's got a great point. So education, just like healthcare, is one of those things that many Republicans do get behind. They do want public education, but they don't really know. And for those of you guys back home that have experienced ballot health, we know what terminology like consolidation and getting rid of duplicate programs and all of that, we know how that really plays out. That type of language, streamlining, consolidating, eliminating duplication, that is code for cut the stuff, remove accountability, right? And prevent like following legislation. That's what that means. So whenever you hear, no, she didn't get it until afterward, Rebecca Littlebird. She didn't get it until afterwards. Right. It means cutting jobs as well. You are right, KZ. And so that's the stuff that we have to be talking about. And so you might be saying, so do you see the way that I tie that in? So listen, when I'm talking to people who followed me because of ballot health, when I'm talking to people back home who have experienced that and they know just how horrible it's been, when I'm talking about these things like this, I'm going to communicate it to them to something that they've already experienced, right? Because it's the same terminology. It's the same thing. It's just it's just called something different. It's just education instead of a medical monopoly. You see what I'm saying? Right. She did get it. But you got what I'm saying? So when you're talking to people, remember that we're always listening for and looking for a way of connection, an avenue to connect. And it's not just about connecting to people, but connecting the topic that we're talking about to something that they've personally experienced, to something that they're already well versed in, right? And no worries, Cricket. And so this is something that I really want you all to remember. So let me keep going. Preschool development programs that are currently worth $315 million a year would stop flowing if Congress enacts Trump's plan. That would also happen to a $187 million program from the Bureau of Indian Education. So that reminds me to make my post this morning.
For me.
You do? Okay, watch out, please.
Okay.
So while I'm pissed, right? So now, as if we haven't done enough to Native Americans, we want to eliminate a $187 million program from the Bureau of Indian Education that's under the Department of Interior that helps fund construction programs, construction projects at schools that are on Native American tribal lands. Yes,
I
honey.
want to play Bella's phone. My phone died and Bella's phone died.
I know her phone is on because I charged it.
No, I want to play Bella's phone.
Listen,
Please.
you can only play Bella's phone until your phone is back on, okay?
Okay.
And don't play her Minecraft.
Okay.
I mean it. Don't play her Minecraft. She'll get mad. Please. I know. Y'all heard the please. I heard it. She knows. Listen, this child right here is going to win an Emmy, an Oscar, a damn Tony, you name it. She is going to get it. This is the child right here. I am very aware. Now, back to what I was talking about. She is. So I want to say this, okay? Egoed. Yes. I want to say this to you guys. To me, this is so offensive. Oh, Carla, I can make that happen. To me, this is offensive. To cut $187 million of funding for construction projects at schools on Native American tribal lands is insulting to our indigenous population. It is something that should not be happening, and everyone should be against that. This is a horrible thing. So far in here, I see attacks on migrant children. I see attacks on children that are in special education. I see attacks on indigenous children. I see attacks on low-income children. And we know that, in certain communities, that's going to be a lot of marginalized individuals. That's also going to be a lot of rural people, small town people. Also, we would be cutting and eliminating $729 million a year in adult education grants. They really want people to be dumb. They really do. The $70 million Teacher Quality Partnership Grant Program is also on the chopping block, according to Trump's plan. That program is one of 3 competitive initiatives for teacher preparation or professional development, which they've already moved to terminating existing grant awards, which is going to court challenges. Okay. The other 2 programs affected by those cancellations are the Teacher and School Leader Incentive and Seeking Effective Educator Development Grants. They aren't mentioned in Trump's proposal, so it's not clear whether Trump also wants those programs gone. Lastly, the Trump budget slashes the full $7 million annual appropriation for equity assistance centers, which provide training and professional development to assist with schools' desegregation efforts. Those centers were signed into law as part of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So, wow. So remember that this is Trump's proposal. It hasn't happened yet, but I want you to understand who they're going after. They are going after migrants. They are going after indigenous people. They are going after low-income people. They are going after Black and brown people. They are going after children that receive special education. That's it. So it says which programs are in limbo until Trump specifies what he's proposing to do with them. So there's a number of notable programs that aren't mentioned in the budget proposal, which could mean they could be proposing to maintain them, eliminate them, or consolidate them, right? They include $2.3 billion with a B. Yep, you don't have to demolish the department to end it. Correct. It includes $2.3 billion Title II program for instructional improvement and professional development, McKinney-Vento for schools supporting homeless students, impact aid for school districts with federal land, community learning centers funds for after-school enrichment, rural education achievement funds, and state grants for Alaska Native and Native Hawaiian education. I'm putting in the link tree as soon as we're done. So I want to read that again. These things are not mentioned, so we have no idea what they plan to do with it. It's a $2.3 billion Title II program for instructional improvement and professional development. There's the McKinney-Vento for schools supporting homeless students, impact aid for school districts with federal land, community learning centers funds for after-school enrichment, rural education achievement funds, and state grants for Alaska Native and Native Hawaiian education. So remember, we've gone through the list where they are specifically saying they're cutting it. These are the programs that are not mentioned, so we don't know if they're going to maintain them, eliminate them, or quote unquote consolidate them. Grants that support instructional programs on American history, civics, and the arts, career and technical education, and school safety aren't spelled out in the budget draft either. Until this year, the federal government has invested hundreds of millions of dollars a year in efforts led by the Institute of Education Sciences to research effective instructional practices, collect and display a massive trove of educational statistics, and coordinate instructional improvement efforts across states and regions. The Trump administration gutted staffing for that office earlier this year. The draft budget doesn't make any mention of the Institute of Education Sciences. There's only one program in K through 12 where they want to increase funding. You ready? Anybody want to guess what it is? Anybody want to guess the only thing that they want to increase? Well, no, religion's not currently in it. Religion's not currently in the budget, right? You guys are on the right track when you say vouchers and Cheryl, charter schools. That's it. The charter schools program, that grant for charter schools, which helps fuel the creation of new charter schools, the replication of existing successful charter schools, and the construction and maintenance of existing charter school facilities. Trump's proposed increase wouldn't be dramatic. It would be an extra 60 million on top of 440 million. So it would be a total of $500 million annually. Dems have supported, what's up, Doug? Actually shuttering that program in recent years. They're asking, is this proposal more radical than what he proposed during his first administration? Yes and no. Between 2017 and 2020, Trump proposed each year to slash overall funding for the Department of Education by 8 to 13.5%. This time around, he wants to cut slightly more, 15.5% of the department's current $78 billion budget. This time around, he wants to cut more, 15.5% of the department's current $78 billion budget. I just want to say this. I think it's absolutely embarrassing that we fund education $78 billion, but we fund the Department of Defense $900 billion. What in the absolute holy hell, y'all? Just 78 billion, 900 billion. And then we wonder what the problem is with this country. No, it's very evident what our issue is. You want to know why public education isn't performing as well as it could? Try funding it properly, right? Try ensuring that states disperse that funding in the way that it should be, right? Why don't we try doing that? And then we could pay teachers a living wage, right? We could get support staff. We could do all of that. Oh, the DOD has never passed an audit. When you say how many failed audits has the DOD had, the answer is all of them. They have failed every audit. We've been behind other countries in education. We've been behind in education. Hold on. So to give you an idea, the U.S. ranks lower in math compared to many countries, including those in East Asia. U.S. student science scores are also below average compared to other economically, developed countries, with a significant number of students scoring below basic in science. We do pretty well for reading, but has room for improvement compared to the top performing nations, right? Come on, y'all. Okay, I can't. Let me go back to this before I get mad. So Trump's budget proposal is almost solely focused on cuts. Last time he was interested in new education-related investments. In 2020, he proposed adding $2 billion to annual funding for career and technical education. Several times he pitched investing $5 billion a year in education freedom scholarships for private school choice nationwide. In 2019, he proposed $100 million in competitive grants for school safety. but his 2019 budget proposal included eliminated 29 grant programs totaling more than $6.7 billion, which is a bigger cut that he's currently proposing. In 2018, he proposed cuts of 1 to 4% to Title I and IDEA. I just can't. All right. So I'm going to put this document in the link tree. I'm also going to put, because at one point in this article, yeah, Denise, so that's the thing. All I'm thinking about is my grands. And because Mila will start school in 2026. And yeah, and there are teachers that voted for him. Exactly. And so let me just say this. So I think about Mila going to school in 2026. I think about Dominic in middle school at that time. I think about Bella with what happens to the IDEA law and special education funding. Like all of those things are crazy. But so in this article, in this breakdown, they also link to their article about what Project 2025 would have cut. And so I'm going to put both of those links at this in the link tree for everybody to look at. So both of those will be there for you. The other thing that I'm gonna just briefly touch on, okay? Briefly, you guys, because we're running up. It's getting close to 2. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to put a link. Mila Ann. She must be playing a game and fighting with somebody. She is so intense when she plays games. Mila Ann, calm down. So, yeah, I can't with people, but so great opportunity that we have here. Yeah, Blue Honey Pot, she's winning. So what I want to do is take this document and do an infographic. I'll do several infographics in social media post form, and I will put them in the same. Here's what I'll do. I'll put them in one Google Drive collection. I will put like right now when I put these links in there, I will put a collection together, and it will say education. It'll say budget proposal education impact. And in that, you'll have the links to these. You'll also have the link to the entire budget. And then I will include a Google Drive that will have social media graphics that have these points spelled out for you so that you can share them across your social media platforms. Yeah, I went over the parental rights part. Well, I went over as they mentioned it in that one article. I don't use AI for shit, Cam. And I'm going to tell you why I don't. I still question their impact on, but no, I'm not doing it. And I'm going to tell you why. Those centers, number one, everybody that owns the AI shit are all the billionaires and millionaires, and I just don't want to use anything that helps them. Number two, it's great for me to continue to use my brain because whatever. 3, all the data centers that run them are a heavy drain on the environment. And 4, call me crazy, but I don't listen. I don't talk to Alexa's ass. I don't talk to Siri's ass. I don't mess with them. The only time Siri hears me talk to her is when I say, Siri, what's the name of this song? That's it. Other than that, I leave them alone. No. I done seen, listen, I've seen iRobot. I have seen iRobot. What you mean? I know they listening, and it's okay. Listen, let me tell you, I've told y'all this story before. We were at my daughter's house, and she kept talking, and she was talking to me, And Alexa started talking to her, right? And I said, Alexa, shut up. Ain't nobody talking to you. My daughter said, hey, talk nice to her. Talk nice to her. She was like, I don't want to make her mad. She said, if they ever take, I said, see, if you got to worry about talking nice to it, it ain't for me. No, thank you. Okay, so again, a couple of things. So this, I wanted to go over this for people, and I tried to get to it yesterday and I didn't. So I want to make sure I get to it today. So again, if you are small town people, you said Alexa turns your lights on and off, reminds you to pick up your kid and water the plants. Yeah, nope. Mm-mm. You said Siri called 911 on your phone when it heard it on TV. See, no, can't do it. Yeah, I know, Linda Sims. I know. And they're fighting it tooth and nail, right? Yeah. So, all right. So listen. So let me just say this to you all. Okay. So listen. If you are rural, if you live in rural communities, small towns, or you live in an urban area that has a decent rural population on the outskirts, this next part is important. And this is also an infographic that I want to bring out. Mila Ann, not so loud. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people that live in rural communities vote Republican. They voted for Donald Trump. And what I want to outline for them, right? What I want to outline for them are the cuts that are outlined in this proposed budget, right? So that they can see what specifically is identified as a rural cut. You ready? So here we go. So this is under she's fighting something on the game. His messaging is similar to mine. She's saying mine. Yeah, she's playing some fighting game or something. Listen, I heard her playing something the other day and she said, na, boo, boo. What's it, girl? Okay, so I talked about this briefly yesterday, but I need to go through the list. There's only 14 of them, okay? So here we go. This is for my rural, small town people. You ready? So this is under the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality. AHRQ is supposed to support research to examine the quality, safety, and affordability of healthcare delivery from the perspective of patients, caregivers, and clinical professionals. So let me give it to you. I think you all remember me saying this, right? So they intend to, the budget is going to, Mila Ann, do not scream. I know that people got you in the game, but don't scream, please. Okay, so here's what it says. The budget eliminates the digital health portfolio for AHRQ. It ends new grants and offloads contracts and interagency agreements not associated with statistical activities. So there was a program that was run for using telehealth to improve access to gender-affirming care for BIPOC and rural gender diverse youth. That would be one of the things that would be eliminated as part of this program. They want to reduce funding for the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality by $129 million. No, that's actually her brother, Stress Management. That's her brother. That's Dominic. Mila Ann, chill, please. So, oh my gosh. So this is in the DOJ wants to reduce, they want to reduce $1 billion from the DOJ. And it says reduce duplicative and unnecessary state and local grant programs, which we've already talked about. When they talk about reducing and eliminating duplication, it's not a thing, right? Hey, Joshua. So the budget proposes to eliminate nearly 40 Department of Justice grant programs. What's up, Renee? That are not aligned with the president's priorities. Specifically, they are eliminating programs. Wow. If you just listen to their verbiage, holy shit. So the verbiage says, specifically, the budget eliminates programs that manipulate the legal system on ideological backgrounds. So you already know when they say ideological backgrounds, we're going to start to get into minority, marginalized groups, right? And it says they want to get rid of community-based approaches to advancing justice, as well as programs that focus on so-called hate crimes in clear violation of the First Amendment. So listen, they said so-called hate crimes. What the fuck does that mean? Are we saying that there's no such thing as a hate crime now? Is that what we're saying? Woo! Wow. They want to shut off the spigot that awards taxpayer-backed grants to radical organizations like the National Center for Restorative Justice. It also includes elimination of grants that provided $6 million that focused on equity and liberation resources for Black, Indigenous, and people of color and white allies. To eliminate $2 million to a Puerto Rican nonprofit that focuses on addressing, quote, structural racism and toxic masculinities. $1.5 million to the radical Vera Institute for Justice, which, by the way, is fucking phenomenal. Vera Institute, oh my God. $1 million to the National Opinion Research Center to, quote unquote, investigate the social ecological context of anti-LGBTQ plus hate crime reporting. The budget, quote unquote, realigns Violence Against Women Act funding with its original core mission to combat violence against women and directly serve victims, eliminating extraneous programs that divert resources from these core fundings. For example, grant funding from the Office of Violence Against Women had been ordered for biological men. In addition, OVW's rural program grants were sent to train community-based Fafanine advocates, an organization of biological men, so you know they're referring to trans people, that describe themselves as a third gender. Wow. The Essential Air Service discretionary funding by $308 million. And so the program funnels taxpayer dollars to airlines to subsidize half-empty flights from airports that are within easy commuting distance from each other, while also failing to effectively provide assistance to most rural air travelers. Wow. So you can forget air travel for small towns and rural communities. Holy crap. Sorry, y'all. I'm reading this right along with y'all. So the rural development programs, they want to cut $721 million from rural development programs. So there was money that was assigned, Marnie, to, like, you know, when you're traveling, like you go into a larger airport and then there's a smaller craft to take you to another place that's like further away. And a lot of times that it might be half empty or whatever. Those types of funds are being quote unquote consolidated or realigned to have better methods and more whatever effective ways of traveling. In other words, you're gonna have to figure out how to drive there or whatever. So let me give you this: rural development programs. That's a whole category by itself. So for my people in they want to talk to me on the phone. Yes, in 20 minutes. Journalism. Yep. I need 25 minutes. Okay. Then I'm available. Cool. Just call when you're free. Okay. So let me do this really quickly. I want you all to hear this, rural people. People back home, I hope you're listening. They want to cut $721 million from rural development programs. USDA's rural development programs are streamlined to focus on programs that have demonstrated efficient results and are an appropriate federal role. Infrastructure loans are prioritized for aging rural water and wastewater systems, as well as technical assistance through the Circa RIDIC program, balanced with reductions in the grants. Other specialty water grants and earmarks are not funded except where the tax base cannot support loans, including maintaining funding for Native American tribes. There it is again. Oh, I'm getting so angry. Okay, I'm coming. She needs me to help wipe her. I'll be right back. I'm about to be very angry. And all of the indigenous folks need to be reading this, and everybody that considers themselves an ally too. Okay, hold on. Let me help you. I know you pooped. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that you pooped and that you needed help. I appreciate it. Okay, come here. Okay, can you sit up for me? Okay, got you. Good girl. Thank you.
Bye, Tutu.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bye.
Bye. Where are you going?
In the bathroom.
You're going in. Okay. All right. Good job, sissy. Oh, sorry, guys. But she did number 2, and I had to help her. So I want to read that part again so that everybody can be as angry as I am. All of this is going in the link tree. Every bit of it is going in the link tree. Appreciate you, Cam, for reminding people to tap and share. So here it is. So other specialty water grants and earmarks are not funded except where the tax base cannot support loans, including maintaining funding for Native American tribes. So the Dene, who already have issues on reservations that don't have clean drinking water, are they just fucked? Like, what is that, right? Community facility grants are eliminated. No new USDA funding is needed for broadband expansion. The budget would also eliminate programs that are either duplicative, too small to have macroeconomic impact, costly to deliver, in limited demand, available through the private sector, or conceived as temporary. These include rural business programs, gone. Single family housing direct loans and rural programs, gone. Self-help housing grants in rural areas, gone. Telecommunications loans and rural housing vouchers, gone. Rural development salaries and expenses are reduced commensurately. The Rural Financial Award Program that is under the Department of Treasury. The budget furthers investment in rural communities by creating a new $10 million award program that would provide access to affordable financing and spur economic development in rural areas. It would require 60% of community development financial institution loans and investments to go to rural areas, and would leverage existing administrative resources within the Department of Treasuries to increase access to capital, infrastructure financing, and Main Street business development. Oh, okay. So we're giving an extra $100 million to develop them for corporations and for businesses. No, these are rural cuts right now, Helen. These are rural cuts. But we're going to take away from the people. Oh. Oh, my Lord. I just can't. So here's the thing. Remember that all of this is proposals, right? How long is this document? I need to see how many pages this document is to determine if I'm able to, if I'm gonna attempt to print it out. Let me take a look real quick. So right now I have Mary Shaw and Deborah that requested to come up on the panel. Did both of you guys mean to request to come up? Or no?
Yeah, Danny, it's Mary.
Okay.
It was a way long time ago, but I just want to say my son-in-law is a steel worker in Chicago.
Yeah.
And he, one thing the Democrats have to remember is like when Kamala Harris went to Chicago, they did not use any union workers at all for all the buildings and all the things that they put up. And it really left a bad taste in the union's mouth up there.
Yeah.
So that's one thing they have to remember is that they've got to use them if they want to gain them on their side.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, 100%.
So, thanks
I
for
think
all you do.
Here's the thing that
really
here's what I would say about that. I agree with you 100%. I also think that people should keep in mind that many of those events, you didn't even know the day or the location until a day or two before. And the planning was largely about whoever they could find, like immediate, like all the things, you know what I mean? And I think whoever is running it for the midterms, and whoever is running in Virginia and New Jersey right now need to be doing that with unions as they run right now and as they plan for midterms. That absolutely needs to be a thing. I think that I would ask unions to give that campaign a little bit of a break because it was a 3-month campaign.
Yeah, I think they pretty much gotten past it, but that was a thing. But
Yeah,
I'm glad
So-
you talked about unions because they really are important.
they are.
He fell off a building. Well, he fell off a building 2 years ago, and they have seen him through everything, every surgery, every restrictions, getting him work, getting his. He still hasn't gotten a settlement, but I mean he's able, but they taught him how to do welding training rather than being out in the field all the time. So they really helped, and
100%.
I'm glad you talked about it.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, I appreciate you.
Yep.
Yeah, little link of that's a good point. Appreciate you, Mary Shaw, as always. That venues a lot of times are the people that make the decisions on those build outs, and the campaign may or may not have input on that. If you all hear the printer going, that is the entire budget proposal, so that I can read through and highlight and all of that and pull out bits and pieces for the infographics, right? So Mary Shaw, definitely hoping he's doing better day by day, as Pie Slice said, right? So Helen, I haven't heard anything about Social Security checks being delayed in May at all. Everybody that I know has received them. What I also know is that they cut the clawbacks from 100% to 50% as well. So, so that's what I know so far. So let me do this while we're on here, folks. I think one of the things that we have to be using in terms of talking points is what for the Senate. Lisa? I'm not sure what we're talking about. Oh, I also need to double check real quick and see how much is done. Sorry. What I'm reading. This is the 2025 proposal for the budget, and that goes to all of Congress. Yeah, so this is Trump's proposal for the budget, and what I printed off, the reason why I like this part is the way that this is listed is because it outlines, like, it shows you how much is leaving, and then it specifies these things. I'm going to continue to kind of dig in and look for more, but real quickly, I want to put on here. Apparently that wasn't all. Y'all hear it going? I'm going to do proposed budget docs. And so remember, in this collection, I'm giving you the links to the Education Week articles that break down specifically what this budget would do. Right? And yeah, she said proposed shit actually works too. Yeah, proposed budget shit. That should be the title of that group. But so in here, I will also put in, it will not be right this second, because I've got to talk to journalists at 2:00. And then grandbabies are going to get home. So then that means I have to get them snacks. And then I have therapy. I need to look and see what time it is, because I don't remember. I changed it. So I'm going to throw all of these links in here for you guys. But I will add social media graphics for the budget stuff in this Google Drive, and I will put the link to the Google Drive in this collection of links as well. If you have not already done so, 1 week from today is the Good Trouble training, the next Good Trouble training. I have not looked today to see how many spots are still available, because I just posted it yesterday, but I'm going to look in just a second. I also am putting the link to the entire budget in here so that you all have it. Oh, shit. Wrong button. Sorry, y'all. Almost done. Almost done. Almost done. Almost done. Almost done. Oh, tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Cheryl will be with me on here. And here's what I want you to remember about that conversation. I'm going to do Trump's. That is, Cheryl is a IEP 504. Appreciate you, Linda. There's 70 spots left. So listen, so 30 people registered yesterday. So tomorrow, Cheryl is an IEP 504 advocate. She works with parents within the education system all the time to help advocate to make sure that they have the support things. It is in the link tree, Shy, yes. Yeah, no, that's exactly what we just said. No, no, they're calling it the budget reconciliation, the skinny budget, whatever damn name they call it. You register, Shauna, if you go to my TikTok profile, right? Or Facebook or YouTube for you guys over here. If you go to my profile, what you will see is a link tree link. You click that link tree. At the very top, it says, whatever the hell it says. It says Good Trouble Training. And that is where you click to register for the thing. Okay. Proposed budget. Sorry, y'all. I'm doing too many things at one time. 2025. I need to put this in here. So there is a collection of docs. There's a collection and it says proposed budget 2025, proposed budget docs. Those three have a link to the entire budget. It also has the two articles that we talked about with regard to what the budget would mean to education. Okay. The image is in the Discord sub discourse. You can download and share. Cheryl, I don't know what image what image? What image? I don't know. You get a confirmation via email for tomorrow's TikTok. Okay, awesome. So you'll get a confirmation via email and it will have the link to the Zoom in the email. Okay. There's 100 seats, guys, and that's it because I'm not paying for anything extra on Zoom. Typically, I reach 100. I reach 100 people that register. Yep, it comes from Calendly. It comes from Calendly. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, we reach 100 usually, and people RSVP, and about 70 people on average show up that day. When we get into the training after about 5 to 10 minutes, when everybody's pretty much in, if there are like 15, 20 spots still left, I usually then will drop the Zoom link into the Discord general chat. And that way, if there are extra seats, then people can do that. Okay. So yes, Cheryl is joining me tomorrow for TikTok, where we will be talking about all things special education, autism spectrum, verbiage for advocating for disabilities and disabled individuals, all of those different types of things we will be discussing tomorrow. It will be at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Thank you, Phantom. Getting that IEP and 504, all of the things that go along with it. She will be here to help talk about that tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I highly recommend anybody that has children or grandchildren that might need additional help. Yes, Catsmandu. Nope. Good Trouble is what you need to register for. 504 IEP stuff with Cheryl will be here on TikTok, on YouTube, and Facebook. So listen, if you've got babies that are in the education system, this is a conversation that you want to be a part of, especially if they might need additional support. Okay, Good Training Trouble is via Zoom. Tomorrow, the 504 and IEP conversation will be had right here, the way it is normally. Okay. Awesome, John. Yeah. So, perfect. So I think that this was the last little bit that didn't print. Okay, I got it. You guys are welcome. So do not forget, before we get out of here, do not forget, people, that this is MMIWG week, which is missing and unalived for TikTok purposes, missing and schmurdered, right? Indigenous women and girls. Remember that we have been sharing facts and information about that. This whole week is the week of awareness. Make sure that you are using your social media to Cam, that is the plan, to come back to TikTok tonight at 9. And so, do you know much about conduct disorder? You're talking to the wrong person. Probably ask Cheryl. So let me finish this thought before I lose my things. Shauna, you are more than welcome. Yes, no more stolen sisters. So if you look on my TikTok, I've put up 2 videos already. I've done a couple of posts on Facebook as well. Michigan Mountaineer, you register for the Good Trouble training in my link tree. It's the very first link in the link tree. But we want to make sure that the IEP chat tomorrow is 504. The IEP 504 talk tomorrow is at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. Okay. The Good Trouble training will be next Wednesday. You register for that training because it's on Zoom, not social media. You register for that training in my link tree, and you will get an email confirmation from Calendly. Okay. Make sure that you are doing your MMIW post. Make sure that we are sharing information. There is, Cam, I've done it before, and I will do it. I just need to get the graphic that's in Discord. Phantom, being the amazing individual that he is, send it to me directly. So I will do that when I get off of here as well. So yeah, you guys are very welcome. Let me just say this from the absolute bottom of my heart. You guys are incredible. Did you do away with the pinning things? I did not do away with pinning things. You can pin things as long as nobody is on the panel. I didn't make any changes. So you should be able to pin anything. Oh, yes. Please listen to the podcast. It is The Danny Cook Show. It is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, iHeart, blah, 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 wherever you go. So yeah, I don't know, Linda. I'll have to look. So appreciate you, the other Linda. And that's it for today. Y'all know I got to make a phone call to a journalist and do some other things. Challenge to get rewards. Your fans reminded you to complete the Post a Fan Club highlight challenge to get rewards. Oh, okay, TikTok. TikTok has too much stuff. Do this for this reward. Do this for this reward. Do this for this reward. I don't be having time to do all that, but I will try. So that is the plan, is to be back on TikTok tonight at 9 p.m. Unless something crazy happens, but that's the plan. Okay, so I'm going to go. I appreciate you always for the likes, the shares, the subscriptions, the follows, all the things. Hey, teacups. Love you much. And that's it. So appreciate you guys for tuning in today. We will see you